What's going on, everybody? All right, so there was no sound at the beginning. I don't know why. I'll have to figure that out. Last time that happened, it's because literally Streamlabs removed the sound without really telling any of us. So for our music, so I'll see if that happened again, and we'll get back to it next week. As it shows on here, we are under construction, but just because we're under construction does not mean we cannot have an amazing show planned, and that is what we have tonight. It seems to be something that y'all have been asking for more and more. So the first segment of tonight is going to be just like the first segment of last week. We're just going to pick a general gaming topic, and we're just going to have a discussion on it. That's what we're going to do. So if you could, share this thing out, and that's where we're going to start off with just action games, good, bad, ugly mechanics, things we like. What is an action game? There's so many things that we could discuss within this that I didn't even know what to name the title. I didn't know what thumbnail to get. So we're going to have a great time talking about that, though. I have WaraWana and Jez will be joining us shortly to discuss that. Then we will be getting into some of the news things that happened this week. And I'll just be honest, Push Square has lit it up today. So Xbox Layoffs, that wasn't Push Square, but that's the only one I think that's not. And then we have Phantom Blade Zero. It's not a Soulslike. And my goodness, who better to talk about what's not a Soulslike than our good pal WaraWana. Also, E3. No, that's dead and gone. E33 defies the odds. That's right. We are going to be discussing E33, Expedition 33, and how it's doing something that not many games get to claim that they've done. And so we're going to discuss that. It's pretty cool. That's that whole story. That there is a level of I can't believe any of it's actually real type of stuff that's going on with that game and just the release and the success and all of it. And then PlayStation First Party, they're staying put. Forget what the other side's telling you. Forget what the other side's playbook is. Those things are staying put. They are staying right here. Oh, and if we have time, we will be taking a look at all the fun stuff that Xbox fans will be able to enjoy because of PlayStation gamers. Obviously, I am talking about Hellblade 2, Sinuous Sacrifice, and everything that goes along with that. So, with all of that being said, welcome to the playground. Excuse our mess. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can pick up your own membership by hitting the join button. And if you don't want to do that, hitting subscribe and like and coming and engaging in the chat, super, super helpful. If you're watching this afterwards, leaving a comment and I will do my very, very best to respond. Sometimes throughout the day, because it's summertime, the sunlight literally soaks my brain power from me, so by the time I get home, I'm just like a vegetable until I go to sleep. So sometimes I don't get to the comments right now, but usually I'm really thorough about that. So if you're watching afterwards, leave a comment down there as you follow along with kind of what we're discussing. With all of that, it is time to bring in the chat box. And so we have WaraWana, he's on the show. We have Hero Down Under. We have NGC Nelson's Gaming Culture. I'm here. I'm Queen, and I think you spelled something wrong there. And then we have, once again, Hero Down Under. Please mention Oh, okay. Yes, all right, so let's get into this. What is up, Josh Ayers? Both of my moderators are in the chat. How are we all doing? Let's get started. Okay. WaraWana, it looks like Jez is fashionably late, like Jez is known for. So we will start by introducing, or letting you enter. Anyways, how are you doing, Wara?
I'm going well. How are you going, mate?
I'm way more amped than I thought I would be. to be
That whole
quite
intro,
honest.
basically 90% of that intro I missed because I couldn't hear you through Discord
Oh,
until
shit.
I unmuted the podcast, and I'm like, oh no, he's talking. Did he introduce me? And I didn't hear it, but it's all good. It's all good. And definitely we will be talking about Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, Hell is Us as examples, and the others. As I
Yes.
assume Thrifty mentioned, we're going to be talking about difficulty, Souls likes, and action games.
Yeah.
Collective.
We got all of it tonight. So
Yeah.
speaking of that, I see it on the Discord all the time. You have been mainlining Elden Ring, Night Ring, like it is a like you're an addict looking for your next big score. Every time I look up, it's what's Wara playing? Oh, he's playing that. Oh, what's Wara playing? Oh, Elden Ring. Oh, what's Wara playing? What was your tag on there? I think was Elden Ring brought them in. Night Ring is
Night
sorting them
Rain,
out.
Night Rain filtered them out.
Filtered them out.
It was just yeah, it was a bit of a piss take because of the fact that Elden Ring was known as the easiest Souls game to get into,
Sure.
and then Night Rain is like the hardest to get into because it's daunting because of the time constraint, the time pressure. So it's definitely difficult on a learning curve, even for Souls players, to go, oh, I can't just get a good build and just steamroll everything with that because you got to start every day because it's a roguelike, effectively. You got to start every day afresh, anew, and so there's going to be a lot of people who do not like that, and that's okay. It's not for everyone. Again, just like Souls games, so it's a niche of a niche. But yeah, it's been a blast. I've been on it so much, and I'm playing on PC and PS5 because there's no crossplay and there's no Xbox Play Anywhere with it. So I had to buy it on 2 platforms. God forbid you had to buy a game on 2 different platforms.
No.
It's a joke. I don't care. Like if the game's good, I'll fucking buy it twice. I'm considering buying it on Xbox as well, so I can play with someone who's been struggling, and he's loving the game, but he's just really struggling with it. And he keeps getting hate messages on Xbox. Like,
Really?
They don't fucking Xbox and toxicity, don't they just go together? But yeah,
Why is he getting
I've
hate
actually,
messages, man? That's freaking stupid.
I think he might not be making the best choices, but also some people who are bad at games attack others and blame them for them doing badly. So it also might just be people who are insecure themselves. Who knows? Either way, I'd love to help him out because he's loving the game. He's just not progressing much. So I'm considering getting it on Xbox as well. But yeah, that's the thing. Make a game good and people will buy it twice. And that's why, sorry to sidestep.
No, you're good.
Xbox Play Anywhere hasn't taken off because the data shows someone will buy it on multiple platforms if they enjoy the game. So that's just all there is to it. Some people have bought. I know someone who bought Death Stranding 2. You guys might have heard of that game that's just released. That is a not Xbox, PlayStation 5 exclusive. Unless you go on Twitter, then Death Stranding 2 is not actually a PlayStation 5 exclusive. I'm yet to understand how that works, but that's what they say. But yeah, someone's bought it 3 times on PS5. They bought it physically, digitally, and they bought the collector's edition. And the reason they bought it a 3rd time was because they ordered it from PlayStation direct, and because they were getting a collector's edition, they held it for the normal release date, even though they're meant to get early access with it. And that person I'm talking about is a community member, Bal Dante. So sorry to say his story for him, but yeah, very unfortunate for him that he didn't get it, so he bought it digitally instead. Just so he didn't have to miss out. But yeah, that's my talking done.
Sorry, that's so funny. Like, to me, that's just freaking wild, dude. Buying it,
yeah.
Because Hero's in the chat talking about how he bought Expedition 33 3 times, bought Last of Us Part 1 4 times. Like,
yeah.
It's just wild. But then I think, and that's, in series that I'm a fan of, I've bought Final Fantasy VII on every freaking platform it's available on. Like, except for PC.
Like laughing in the face of that's like laughing in the face of this Xbox Play Anywhere. Buy it once and you get it on 2 different platforms. It's like you just finished telling us that people can't afford 2 consoles, and yet you're telling us that you're going to be able to jump between PC and Xbox. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
that's not logic that's lining up with like the real world.
Well, even when we were,
2 things can't both be true.
You got to think, when we were kids, if your buddy had a Nintendo and you had a Sega, and you wanted to play Mario and he wanted to play Sonic, you couldn't just swap it. Like, those were different games on different platforms. Now, take a game that was on both, like one of the take Mortal Kombat. You had Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo. You have Mortal Kombat on the Sega. Well, and actually I don't know if it was on Sega. I think it was. Yes, it was, because one had blood and one didn't.
JC, I see your comment. Hilarious.
Yeah.
No, not this guy. Not this guy. It's the one
but,
who
like,
hates Reforge.
you couldn't go and take
I don't hate
the...
Reforge, just to clarify.
Right.
Sorry, keep going.
No,
Yeah,
you couldn't take the Super Nintendo copy and put it in the Sega and make it work. Like, even though they were the exact same game, it just couldn't happen. But for some reason,
like,
people are like, oh, it's on a disc. Oh, it's on a disc. They should work. And it's like, no, that's not how this... You can't do that.
Yeah,
So...
and it's like, yeah, all this Xbox Play Anywhere, I acknowledge the benefit, which is being able to play the game on one platform, then immediately go across to PC from Xbox or vice versa, and being able to continue your game off. That is cool. I like that. But the thing is, games at a game level can do that. The platform doesn't need to force offer it. So, for example, Night Rain doesn't carry over from PC to PS5. That is a bit of a letdown for an online game that they don't have cross progression. Sure, that's definitely a negative.
Yeah.
So my progress on my PC is not transferring when I jump on PS5. I played a couple of games with Baldante and Henry Heck, another community member. So that I wish had been added, but at the same time, again, the game's good without it. But I would rather have it in, of course. But Xbox offering it as like part of their whole platform, it's like Fortnite does it and have done it for years. Ubisoft does it with most of their games. Like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah. And as Hero and you and then Josh have mentioned, you will buy a game more than once if you enjoy it and you want to play it on another platform. That's just all there is to it. Like, consumers, regardless of the game or whatever they like, consumers will spend with their wallet and they will go out, and you wouldn't believe how much, like Randy from Gearbox said, you will find a way if you're a fan.
I mean,
sorry to bring that up, but
no,
yeah.
but
like he was right in that. Now that the game's not $80, we can talk about it. He was right in what he said. It was just that was very in poor taste in how he said it, but it is true that a fan like will spend money with what they want. Like I said, Baldante bought it. He wanted the collector's edition, but the collector's edition doesn't come with a physical copy, so he also ordered a physical copy. So Sony didn't send out the digital version because they wanted to post it all at once. So then he had to wait. So instead of waiting, he bought it digitally on the store, so he could play in the early access period of Death Stranding 2. So consumers, if they want to play a game, they'll play it, and they'll buy it twice if they have to buy it twice. And it is what it is.
Listen, sometimes you don't even have to want to play it. Sometimes you just see the game go on sale for $3.99 with all of the backwards patches and all of the extra content, and you're like, you know what? I'll spend $4 and see if Skyrim is actually good, and I'll play with all of the enhancements and everything, and you'll realize, like I did, that no, it's not good in 2024, and you shouldn't try to screw with it, and you should just leave it alone. But I mean,
to talk about more important things, just quickly.
Absolutely.
For a little. More importantly, what do you think of the new update to Magic the Gathering and Magus of the Moon not now killing Urza's Saga when it enters the battlefield?
What?
You play Magic the Gathering, right? What level is your knowledge? What level is your knowledge
so that's the
of Magic
thing.
the
Like, I know Urza's Saga, and I know they just changed the enchantment rule. I have no idea what the heck Magus of the Moon does.
They changed the Saga rule. So Magus of the
I knew
Moon
about that.
makes all lands are mountains, right?
Yeah.
And Urza's Saga is a saga with chapters. That's also a land,
right?
And an enchantment.
Yes.
So what happens when Magus of the Moon enters? It makes that Urza's Saga enchantment a land, a mountain.
It makes it a mountain,
but a land.
Yeah.
Sorry, a mountain specifically, right?
Yeah.
And what other types does mountain have? Nothing, right?
Right.
So it removes all the text on it that says anything about sagas. It's still a saga, but it doesn't have its chapters anymore.
Oh, so it wouldn't.
And the rules of sagas. And the rules of sagas is once it's got more chapters than there are on equal to or greater than the amount of chapters that are on it, you sacrifice it.
What's this
so
gibberish?
When it becomes a mountain, it has one chapter already, assuming its trigger's already resolved. The first trigger to give it a chapter. It will have one chapter or two or three or whatever on it. And what will happen is it'll say, okay, there's no chapters at all on it. It has one chapter or whatever it has.
Yeah.
Sacrifice it. And it
Oh,
immediately
that's
goes
fun.
to the graveyard.
So you can just keep making
So-
constructs with it, or you can keep tutoring for the 1 mana.
No. It's gone. It's gone. If it becomes a mountain, it's gone. It's you effectively wasteland it.
Oh, so it
Magus
just,
of the
it just
Moon
becomes a
wasteland it.
land. It just becomes
Yeah.
a land source that doesn't go
No,
away.
no. No, it immediately gets sacrificed. But now it becomes now it does stay in play, but it's a mountain.
Interesting. I don't.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, cool. Yeah, I knew that they had changed the rule. I didn't know what Magus of the Moon did. Speaking of changing rules, though, let's talk about action games. Because I don't want the entire audience that comes here to go, what the hell is Magic the Gathering and why are we talking about it?
Yeah.
I always forget that you played. Still play sometimes? But, okay.
Very
so,
rarely. Very rarely lately, but yeah.
Action games. So this is a great segue, actually, because as things change, as things progress, you start getting different interactions with a certain thing, right? Things progress, things evolve, things change, and sometimes the way we interact with those things change. So action game has been now extrapolated out and expanded upon so much that when you say action, you could be talking about Hades, you could be talking about God of War, you could be talking about Metal Gear Solid, you could be talking about Elden Ring. There's so many. Heck, you could be talking about. Oh crud! Dang it! They just released like the 37th entry in it. Omega Force. You're in Asia. You're going through the different dynasties. It's shoot.
Dynasty Warriors?
Thank you. That's it. I was like, for some reason, I couldn't think of it.
I was like, no, he doesn't mean Dynasty Warriors.
I said Dynasty. I couldn't think of Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that could be an action game. Like, there's so many different ways that we could parse out what an action game is. Instead of doing that,
it's as big as like racing game or
Right.
sports game or RPG. Like all of those genres are so large that it needs subgenres to sort of filter them out to clarify.
Right.
Because like just because the game's a sports game, someone like Hero might want to play soccer, football, whatever, wherever you are in the world. But he might not want to play golf or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Anyway.
instead of getting hung up on, it, like if I say to Wara, one of my favorite things about an action game is when the combat is varied by each weapon you use, like in God of War, and he jumps back and go, well, God of War is an action RPG actually, because we're not doing that shit to each other tonight. We're not.
Yeah, no. There's that's a pointless conversation. Like you're defining it. What are you gaining by proving that? The
Right.
People who try to do that, I feel, already have a narrative that they want to push in the background, and that they're waiting for you to acknowledge it's an RPG, and then they can say, "Cool." On the scale of all other RPGs, it's terrible, and it's like, "Cool, you win." And it's just pointless.
Great. So happy for you. And that's honestly where that preface comes from, is because I am a JRPG fan, and I've had to clarify, define, and articulate, like, okay, this is what I mean when I say and it's very cumbersome and very annoying. So, didn't feel like having to do that tonight. So, if one of us say something that you think isn't an action game, you can let us know in the comments, or you always have the option to shut the hell up. That's possible too, if you just so are inclined. But with that being said, there are a ton of things that go into an action game, and I hope to explore several of them tonight. So we're going to start off with the good about action games, and I will go ahead and go first. Normally I let the guests go first, but I already kind of spilled the bag. I like a simplistic combat that feels complex. Okay? So you have a game like Hogwarts Legacy. I talked about this in my review of that game, where the button mapping takes about a quarter of the game to fully get used to. You really have to have all 3 pages in order to really get the rhythm of that game down. Because that's the way you cycle through your spells, your spell books, you have your utility, you have your combat, you have your dark magic. You have things that are utility in the real world or in the world, but also are used in combat. And so, like, you have to place them in the proper spots, but once you kind of tinker with it, it becomes like just second nature. It dang near becomes muscle memory. And The same thing with God of War. One of my favorite parts about Ragnarok was that they added another weapon because it gave and the way you used your shield was a little different also. So it gave subtle changes to the combat. It was still a 2 or 3 hit combo. It was still a 4 hit power combo. You still had a ranged attack and an AoE effect. Like, it was all the same kind of attacks were there, but because they were skinned differently with a different weapon and maybe at a different speed, it felt better. And it felt like it really invited you to keep fighting, keep going. It wasn't cumbersome and clunky. There was a game called Solstice. I don't know if y'all have played it. It's on PS Plus. I think it's Premium, I believe. No, it's on Extra. Anyways, not the point. That game, the combat is super fast, super fluid, but you're fighting the camera from the word jump. And it is awful. Because it's not smooth. It's not inviting. It's not that thing that brings you in that says, you know what? I can actually battle something and fight something for 30, 45 minutes, the Raven Queen that I had to kill in Ragnarok. Like, you can fight them for a long time, and you don't ever feel like it's boring and repetitive. And so, even though it is very simple, when you break it down, I play simple combat games. I don't like hard combat games. I've never liked them. It's always something that's always just frustrated me. Like, I don't know. I remember playing the stealth games from back in the day where, like, you actually had to hold a button to crouch, hold a button to look, and hold a button to... And I'm like, no. Just let me fucking move. Let me just press a button and move. Like, anyways, that's beside the point a little bit. Wara, what do you think on that? What do you look for in combat?
I like the point. Yeah, so I won't speak on what I like in combat. I just want to comment on the, like, action in general is, like you said about you don't need it to be difficult. Action, at its core, in my opinion, action games don't need to be difficult. It's just about that certain pace and how much is going on the screen, and just, you know, like a lot's going on versus something like Solitaire isn't an action game, right? As a really, really exaggerated example of something that's not an action game. A lot's going on versus, and like you said with the God of War, they add a little bit more, but don't make it too over the top. And with an action game, it's at its core, again, I don't believe action needs to be difficult at its core. I actually find myself having less action. I'm holding my little bunny ears up, like less action in a action game when the difficulty is higher, because you basically have to micromanage more, be more on the ball, and it's less about just fuck yeah, destroy that guy, just smash that big ability that destroys heaps of people at once or does heaps of damage. And God of War is a good example of an action game because of the fact that it's everything is so fluid, and just everything about it is top quality. And yeah, like in Devil May Cry as well is another good example, I think, of just like so much going on, and you just like it's like a roller coaster, I guess. Like, I want my action games, speaking personally, I want my action games to be like a roller coaster. It's just like everything is just a ride, just going on and just keep going. Like Space Marine 2 last year, I feel like was just an amazing action game. It was just constant, like the parries felt so good when you landed them and stuff like that. And oh yeah, it just felt so good. And like the next I'll wait for you to like say what the next point is, because obviously the title is Phantom Blade Zero, not a Soulslike. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to say on it. If you want to just mention the next bit, and then I don't want to go into it until you mention it.
Well, and I kind of want to explore this little area we're in still with just action games, because you'd mentioned Devil May Cry. Yeah. Devil May Cry is a game that if you want to, you can play it and get good. Or you can just fumble through and play it for 5, 6, 7 hours like I did and never get past anything. Like, I think I made it 3 levels in, but I still kept going back and replaying those 3 levels because it was just fun. Like, the combat in it was just fun. And once again, when you get a game for $6 to $10, I'm not sitting there looking for life-changing material. I'm looking for something to fill up a spot. I'm looking for something to give me something to do. And so I purchased it and I played a little bit of it and I was like, oh, this is cool. You're on these like little rooftops and that's neat. And then this chick with the country accent comes on that's way out of place, and you're like, okay, well, fine. But like the combat of it was amazing. It was so fun, and I sucked at it, but it was still fun, and it wasn't hard. It's just combat I wasn't used to, because that game takes you every direction, right? You fight on the ground, you fight in the air, you fight normal. It just takes you literally everywhere. You fight with these different main weapons, then you fight with different ranged weapons. You have power-ups and upgrades that you gotta make. Like, there's a lot of crap that goes into the combat, but I never felt like... I guess it was just because I wasn't actually trying to like beat the game or push it. I was just looking for a time waster. I really felt like the game served its purpose, and the combat served its purpose. I mean, and it had to have, because Square Enix like poached the dude, or not poached, but Square Enix had the guy from that series come over and do the combat for Final Fantasy 16. So obviously it's well known. He's well known. He's well known for designing this good combat system, which everybody will tell you is probably the best part of Final Fantasy 16 was the combat system and the way combat handled. And so like combat, I think, in action games is so huge. And it's going to take me to my the second part of this, because the reason why is because, and maybe I shouldn't have said good, bad, and ugly. Maybe it should have just been good, bad, and okay. Because in a lot of action games, like I'm talking just balls to the wall action games. You mentioned Space Marine 2. The story is not just something that's going to take you light years down the road. Like you're not going to sit and contemplate your life at the end of a lot of action games. I played Diablo 4. I beat Diablo 4. Diablo 4 was one of those titles that after I beat it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That was fun. That was a good time. Great. Lilith is now dead. Let's move on. And I did. Like,
the Diablo 4 is another good example of what I was trying to mention before, is no matter what level of difficulty you play that game on, whether it's just normal or all the way up to Torment, I can't remember the difficulty levels, but I did play on the highest for a bit when I was playing, and that's a game where the action doesn't really change whether it's on the easiest, medium, hard, none of that. You may feel more satisfaction, which I did when you go to the higher ranks. You get better gear, harder bosses, and it's a nightmare to try and kill like end, and you're level 100 and the end game in the end game, and like you're on the last boss and stuff like that. Lilith, can't remember her name now, but yeah, like it's yes, more intense, I guess, but like the game is still fun whether you're on easy, medium, or hard, and that's a game we've both played and both enjoyed. But yeah, that's just at the core, like the action game genre, like it isn't about difficulty, like you said.
Yeah, and it's also not necessarily about story. Like, and here's how I know that.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm gonna use Souls games as an example. I played several hours in Elden Ring. I still know nothing about the story of Elden Ring. Like, literal nothing. And when I talk to people about it, they're like, oh man, the story's all over the place. All you gotta do is go find it. Okay. They're like, or you can
I'm
just...
too busy not dying to be reading a book, buddy.
You want me to go to a cave where I gotta fight twin trolls just to find a little piece of lore? Nah, man, I'm good. I'm gonna go over here and fight soldiers. There's no lore. Like, there's... But that's fine.
So, like, all the lore and stuff, like, to put it... And this is why people say, like, oh, YouTubers just put it all together. That's how people know it. It's like, yeah, I could either spend 100 hours, not 100, but, like a lot of hours, reading item descriptions of all the armor and everything, because that's where the YouTubers get all the lore, and then they just compile it together and make a video. The story, like the main story of like what you're told to do, it's told by the NPCs generally, but if you want all the backstory and the lore, that's generally on like armor descriptions and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
keep going. No, it's not at the forefront. No, it's exactly what you said though. It's not at the forefront. The story is definitely at the back generally. Or not at the back, in the middle. It's in priority, not high priority. But yeah, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So talked about good, talked about a little bit rough there with story elements. One of the, and I want to hear like pick. I want you to pick one gripe. So I'm gonna give you my
Yeah.
one gripe, and then I want you to pick one gripe that like in action games just bugs the crap out of you. And so
Okay.
mine is funny enough related to the jump button. It's not the jump button, but it's related to it. So here's why I say that. With action games, when they put traversal in, it either is really, really well done or it screws up the immersion of the game 1000%. What I'm talking about, there's a game that was out, it's called Achilles, I believe. And the
Yep.
rolling mechanics, the movement, the traversal mechanics in that game were kind of rough. Now, combat, dodging, moving out of the way they did their iframes and everything, all of that was fine. I had a lot of fun with the first like half of that game. Really good. But they tried to like put in this roll thing that you could, or this roll thing that you could do in combat, and outside of combat, it just felt awkward because it wasn't meant, like, that's not the intended use of it, but they still allowed you to do it. And so it just kind of was always one of those little nagging things about the game. But a game like Victor Vron that added the jump button to it, it's a top-down isometric game, it added the jump button, and it actually used that as part of their traversal. Like it extended the map so you could jump through walls, you could jump onto other platforms and like go find other things hanging around. And so it was really, really well done. Diablo 2 had no horses, no mounts, no nothing. Well, Diablo 3 was the addition of mounts. And then Diablo 4, they didn't add them near as early, and so that thing made you traverse the entire freaking map until Act 3, and then you finally got your daggum horse. And so, like, oh, Nelson, I loved Achilles. That was a great game. I actually enjoyed that game before I played Stellar Blade, and the combat in that game was harder than Stellar Blade, surprisingly. Uh,
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, Josh. I was going to say the same thing. I didn't want to interrupt, but I was sitting there going,
aren't there
I never
mounts?
got a mount. I don't remember there being a mount.
Are mounts
Diablo
in
3,
are mounts only in Diablo 4? Am I a moron? Mounts
yeah,
in.
yeah, it was
Oh
yeah,
shit!
I don't remember.
I'm sorry. I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. There are no mounts in
Thrifty's on that
Diablo
DLC.
3. Yeah, I'm on something. I'm on something. No, okay. So that just so cool. It proves my point even more. They put this in there. They give it to you late in the game. They haven't had it in the other 3 titles, and instead of implementing it earlier, they gave it to you later just to pad out the game. And like, because I was talking to Will about this, if they would have given you that in Act 1, you would have been done with the game in 15 hours. No questions asked. And you wouldn't have done any of the side quests. Because you just would have...
Originally, like before you even played, they had it so that Diablo would be every season when you made your seasonal character, you'd have to regain all your rep that you'd earned from the original game. And it's just like, why are you doing this? You're just making us regrind the same quests and everything again to earn reputation. Fuck off. And then they changed it because of backlash.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. They did feel slow, and for like not a lot of benefit really. I can't really find a realistic reason why they would do that except for the fact they wanted to slow you down.
That's what it was.
Well, I don't know, Josh. I don't know. Not really, because they let you skip the campaign the second time round. Like they're not trying to force you to spend. Like they want you in the end game. They want you in the end game. That's where you want to buy the pretty armor because you can't earn it. And that's my biggest gripe with a full price game with skins that you can buy. Is the real skins you can earn are generally shit because they can sell you skins. Why would they make a good one in the game to earn?
Oh my gosh, they're so bad in game. I almost bought skins in that game so many times because.
Oh, did you know that? Diablo 4 is an Xbox Play Anywhere game?
Oh, did you know? Okay, hang on. So before we get into this next part,
introduce
Jez, and then I do want to hear kind of your one gripe, because me with traversal, I would rather them stay in the lane that everybody is kind of familiar with action, like action games, action adventure games. than try to continue to do something new and not play test it properly, right? Like, I'm all for
Yeah.
advancements in games, but if you're like, man, I want to add a jump button, that'd be fun, and your jump mechanic is shit and your traversal mechanic while using it is awful, like, please just don't. We're not here to jump, we're here to smash shit. That's why it's an action game. Okay, so with that, Jez from the Gaming Grindhouse has stopped in. Jez, how are you, sir?
Yo, what's up, man? Sorry.
You're
Sorry,
fine.
I got pulled into something.
Listen,
I was like,
that's the second time you've
I know.
messaged me.
I said I'm going to be on, and then I was like, oh, I got pulled into something, dude.
Man, crap happens, dude. I was almost late. It's summertime, so my two boys don't know what the word sleep actually means. And
Yeah,
so
same here.
it's
That was
awful.
going on. I know. I'm just like, come on, get to bed. Like, come on, kids.
Just
Like,
please go.
I know.
I'll even let you
Yeah,
watch your
it's,
screen.
it's
Just
summertime.
go to bed.
It's late, you know. It's their first weekend. Yeah, they're home, and it's really they're just like have big days, and they just don't know when to go to sleep. And it's been so friggin' hot here, man. It's crazy. It has been crazy. Oh my god.
How hot is it up there? How hot
It
is
is
it up
like
there?
99, 100, and then it gets down to like 70, 80 at nighttime.
No
Yesterday
shit.
it was crazy. Yo, he was playing his on the computer, and my wife told him, was like, turn it off. And he thought she said turn off the AC. He turned off the AC. It was 86 degrees. I was like, after I did the show last night, I went upstairs. I was like, what the hell? Why is it so hot up here? I'm like, the air conditioner must be broke. And it was off.
Oh
86
wow.
degrees in the house. I'm like, holy crap. But anyway, yeah, it's but yeah, sorry about that. I'm
No,
back.
you are great. That is so. I didn't think it got that hot up there where you're at. Like,
No, it doesn't. That's why it is like people like there's warnings all over the place. They canceling like practices and we're just going to the pool. Like it's been
I
crazy.
mean, man, we had
Yeah.
an email today about our safety and all this other crap because
It's all over the place. It goes
yeah.
all the way up. East
Yeah.
Coast all the way down to Florida.
I didn't realize
out
that,
west.
man. I didn't realize it went all the way up. That's crazy. Cause
Yeah, and we had some crazy thunderstorms earlier, and now it's getting cool again. So now it should be rainy and cool, like around 80s. No more
that's
90s,
y'all's
100s.
normal climate, isn't it? Rainy and
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like, that's-
Well, just cool. Like it was 101, 102. Like the last 3 days, it was crazy.
Man, yeah, it was. I went into an attic and it was 158 degrees in that thing.
Oh my goodness.
I could literally cook something on the wood if I wanted
Sorry,
to.
guys, I'll be back in a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, man, you're
It's
good.
been crazy.
But yeah, so essentially we are talking right now about action games, right? Good, bad,
Okay.
ugly
Yeah, I thought you were
things.
talking about Diablo. I was like, I have nothing to
No,
contribute
no,
to that. 'Cause I
no, no,
don't- I
no.
didn't
Just
play that.
action games in general. Diablo came up because it is an action game.
Gotcha.
And one of the things about tonight is we're not going to try to nitpick. Oh, that's an action RPG. That's an action adventure. That's an action title. Like, screw all that. Just so for you, what is? Because I know you like to play action titles.
Sure.
What is something you look for? Are you more of like a Just Cause type person where you just want to go cause mayhem, or do you want more of a God of War that has story mixed in? Like, what do you lean towards most?
Oh, Just Cause. I love Just Cause 4. I love that game. That one was crazy. I love just creating chaos and explosions and stuff like that. But then I love God of War and those kind of like story-driven action games and things like that. So it's like I really like anything. I like anything that's engaging. Like I don't know. Like it's just with action games though. Like I love destruction. I love explosions. I love physics. I love when things respond. Like when you blow up something, everything kind of goes in the direction like it has physics. Like that adds like variety to the different experiences and not that monotony of just the same explosion, the same thing, and the dynamics of it. So that's why I gravitate to like the Just Causes, those kind of things. But like what I consider an action game, like I would consider like Just Cause an action game. I would not consider God of like the old God of Wars. The new ones I wouldn't consider that as an action game. That's more of, I would say, more of a narrative driven, combat, thing like that. So I would just say for me, action is just explosions, craziness, real fancy like fighting and stuff like that, like Ninja Gaiden, things like that. Those are like action kind of games for me. So when I hear action, I mean action. You know, the other ones are
So
more
would you
action
go like
adventure.
DMC as action for you?
Yeah, like
Okay.
'cause, yeah, like God of War, I would say is more action adventure, that kind of combo. But just
Right.
pure action, that's where like a Just Cause is, or something like a Ninja Gaiden, where the other one's doing action adventure, where it's actually telling the narrative and doing that. Same thing goes like Ghost of Yotai or something like that, like open world action adventure type thing.
Sure.
Some have RPG elements, but yeah, that's kind of like where what I do that. It's really just kind of the combat and how that applies to it.
Yeah, Josh calls it popcorn action. Yeah.
Of course, exactly.
That's-
Well, just like not thinking, just going crazy and just blowing up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What game was
Like
that?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty's like action. Call of Duty campaigns. That's like action. Just John Rambo just running around.
Hey, there was a Rambo game. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but there was
Red
a Rambo
Faction,
game.
Yeah, I see Josh put Red Faction. I said
Yeah.
one of my favorite games was Red Faction Guerrilla. The one that had all the buildings that fall down and stuff like that. I love
And
that
Red
game.
Faction was so fun. It is ridiculous to my brain to think that the company that gave us Horizon is the same company that gave us Red Faction. Like, just because those
That's
are
crazy.
right. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Guerrilla is the one who made Red Faction. I think I'm correct in that.
I thought
Wrong.
it was
Uh-oh.
Volition. Yeah. I don't
Hang
think
on,
it was.
hang on.
I think it was like
First person
who did it?
shooter.
Volition, not Volition. Who was it?
What was Guerrilla's
Yeah, it wasn't
title?
Red Faction.
Guerrilla.
Gorilla's game was Killzone.
Killzone. Dang it.
Yeah.
Same thing though.
Not Red Faction.
For
No,
some
Red
reason-
Faction. Red Faction was cool because Red Faction had the destructible walls and things like that. Like you could shoot out walls and
Yes.
make new pathways and things.
That's what
like
I was
that.
gonna
That was,
say.
like,
That's
Red
why I thought of
Faction's
Red
thing.
Factions, because that was when he said that I was like, oh yeah, you could like blow up the wall. That was like the first mission
No,
you had
that's
to go and blow up the wall and then go forward.
Yeah, no, that's not Killzone. Yeah, Killzone didn't do that.
Red Faction developer. Yeah, it was Volition with THQ. Huh.
Volition. Yep. I thought
There we
so.
go. I don't know why I confused those, but it's that just kind of just screwed up my whole train of thought with that. That's okay. But so
in your
action-
world, they did.
yeah, and in my world, my brain just like stopped for a second because it had to reprogram that because I've been thinking that for a while now.
Oh, why? What was the? I just missed it. Can you say it again
Oh,
quickly, or
just
is it
gives you
too long?
something else to just ride me about. It's I said that Gorilla's one of Gorilla's older games was Red Faction because for some reason I thought it was, and like I was getting
Oh,
that
okay.
confused with their Killzone franchise. Still a FPS because I was talking about how it was wild that they went from that type of a shooter to Horizon. Like,
Oh,
and
okay.
so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point still stands. I just had the wrong game at the beginning.
Yeah.
But so with action titles, I have one coming up that I am super excited about. It's called Lost Soul Aside. But that game has been presented as a 100% action combat focused heavy action game. There's another game coming out next year that is also, well, supposedly, that is also being touted as a heavy action game, an action combat-driven game. And that, of course, is Phantom Blade Zero. So, we're going to talk about Phantom Blade Zero real quick. If I can get this stupid thing to work this time. It worked earlier. I wish it would work now. There we go. So, Phantom Blade Zero devs reiterates yet again that PS5 Stunner is not a Soulslike, and it does have difficulty levels. So, Bill Dante with the 20 says, using a biology analogy, action game would be Kingdom and platformer would be Phylum. Metroidvania would be family genus. So God of War would be a subgenre of action game, like Far Cry games are also an action game. Listen, I actually understood all of that. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I touched on before Bal Dante showed up.
Yeah.
About how the action genre is so large, and like a lot of these genres are so large that you got to have genres to
Yeah, like
to
action
filter them
adventure,
all around.
Action RPG.
Yeah. That's
So
it, yeah.
Phantom Blade Zero, also Bel Dante, thank you for the 20, man. Phantom Blade Zero is not a Souls-like. Now, it just so happens that I have a Souls expert on the channel with me.
Oh, you got a fourth person coming.
No, no, it's you. It's definitely you. So here's the thing. Let's go on to read this. At this point,
That's
the Chinese
fair,
studio.
Yeah.
What did he say? Sup, chat. Thank God I love Souls, but
I
I need to break.
Souls game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
fair.
100% fair. 100%.
Like, so it says, to be fair, it's hard to avoid Souls-like comparisons these days. People see any kind of melee-based action that may or may not involve dodging, or may involve dodge rolling, and questions are immediately asked. But Soulframe Lang, S Game's memorable named CEO, is adamant to set the record straight. When Phantom Blade Zero was first announced,
His name Soulframe. His name is
Soulframe
Wow.
Liang.
I love it. That's a great name.
That is really good. You made me lose my thought. When it was first announced, people thought that it was a Souls-like. Lang writes on social media, after all, it seemed to feature interconnected maps, hidden secrets, and those sigh of relief checkpoints. So it was a game. It was a game. It had maps, hidden collectibles, and checkpoints. I'll be damned, it's a Soul. It used to be you had to have parry, dodge, roll, and 2 different weapons, and then you were a Souls game. Now...
And tears. Don't forget the tears. You had to have tears.
You had to have tears. Now you just need maps, hidden collectibles, and checkpoints. I'll be damned. We've broadened the horizon way too much. Fast-paced combat was showcased. Lang says that there are way more misconceptions that people claiming that it was a hack-and-slash game similar to something like Devil May Cry. However, Phantom Blade Zero is neither a Souls-like nor a traditional action game. In the process of making the game, we stumbled onto a path we never expected. He goes on to do some more talking in here and explain what the... Basically, he doesn't want to call it either, because in gaming, you really want to stand out. This is a new game. This is a new thing. They really want to stand out. So as much as I love this article, and I love the way the person wrote this article because it's funny as hell, like, there's also some marketing that the guy's doing right now. Like, it's not a Souls-like, and it's not a traditional action game. Well, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, you're going to be one or the other.
Show the gameplay, and that
just
people will determine
show
what
the
it is.
gameplay.
Exactly, Jez. Yeah, exactly. And like this was my issue with Stellar Blade launching on PS5. I feel like it may have harmed sales on PS5 because of the Souls-like branding. And it's like, let games stand on their own so that people can just watch it and decide for themselves whether they want to or not. But to make my point about why I think that Phantom Blade Zero, making this clear, is I want to use the game Expedition 33 that's on screen right now.
Yes.
As an example, because that went out and they said, we're breaking the mold. We're not going to copy anything else. We're just going to do what we want to do, and we're going to do whatever it is, and we don't care what other games have done, what's hot at the moment, what's not. They're just going to make a fucking game and be done with it. I respect artists like that as much, like, more than anything else, right? While I personally wasn't a fan of some choices in Expedition 33, I love everything about their ethos at that place, because they're like, we have a plan, we're doing it. And then when it's where was my point again? Sorry, yeah. And so Expedition 33, so Phantom Blade Zero coming in and saying we're not a Souls, like we're going to do our own thing. That's great, because I don't want every fucking game to be a Souls-like. I don't want them to copy, because we're not going to get better games like that. We're going to get more games that are copying. Like, if you're Microsoft and you copy everything PlayStation does, you'll end up behind, because you're not going to be ahead. And that's why we want more artists to be pushing forwards and not just following from behind.
I mean, that's where they're at now.
So it's good. Yeah. So I just want more game developers to be like, yeah, we're making our own thing. Yeah, of course we're gonna take inspiration from other things, but
well, a good example
as much
of
as I
that.
love Souls games, I don't need these other games to copy them so direct.
So a good example of that is I'm really excited about Tides of Annihilation. The trailer.
I just have to go for a sec again. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Continue, go.
Tides of Annihilation is a game that's coming out probably next year also, and that title, I kid you not, That title has me super excited. It's a female lead. She got a big, huge sword. And right now in gaming, that's 2 out of 3 things that you need to make a good game. So, because of that, I'm like, oh, this game looks really, really cool. And at first, I thought it was like a remake or something of Final Fantasy, of one of them. And so I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Then I found out it wasn't, and I was like, okay, female lead, main character with a sword, heavy, looks like a heavy combat focus, looks like a kind of more action adventure RPG. Okay, cool. Man, I really hope they don't just copy Stellar Blade. Like, I really hope that they don't just go, Stellar Blade had good combat, people enjoyed that, let's just copy it and bring it over. Like, at some level, I want them to try something new and do something different. So I understand why the guy is saying this, hey, it's not like this and it's not like that, when in reality, he could just squash it right now and go, hey, it's actually more in line or more inspired by these heavy action titles, or it's more inspired by games like Elden Ring or games like Lies of P or something like that. You know, difficulty settings but still hard combat. Like, I know Elden Ring didn't have difficulty settings. I'm talking about Lies of P on that. But like, Jez, what do you think, man? Do you think Souls-like or not, you're gonna play it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I didn't see that Souls like the thing is I do prefer when they do not just kind of pigeonhole their games and saying what they are, and I think nowadays they realize that hey, if they say something like that, they may turn off a lot of people before they even get to play it. So they're just kind of being very coy and just saying, hey, here's the game, this is what it is, here's some elements, and I think if people want to make games difficult or like more parry driven, like I think what Claire Expedition does really well is like they have the auto stuff there if you're not really into all the quick time stuff, and
Yeah.
I think that's good, and I think that that they're just being real coy on this thing because they want to make it, and it looks like an action game, like, and you can even tell like from the music and stuff that they play and things like that, like the game definitely is not a slow paced crazy game. It looks like more of a Devil May Cry type thing, even but more strategic. It looks like much more like things, and I think a lot of people think, I feel that if games have stamina in it, it definitely lends to more of a strategic combat rather than just spamming certain buttons. Whereas like a Ninja Gaiden versus a game that may have a stamina a meter, even if it's not a Souls game, I think having a stamina meter to your attacks definitely gives kind of an element of more strategy, but also pulls something from Souls. But it's not a Souls game. And I think they're getting real wise to that stuff, and I think the games look great. I'm excited for both of them. I get them confused, Lost Souls Side and Phantom Blade Zero, but I don't know which one had the killer music and that was crazy combats. I think that was Phantom Blades. I think that was Lost Souls Side. Phantom Blade Zero is the one that's coming out this year, right?
Yeah, I think Lost Souls Side.
No, Lost Souls coming out this year. Phantom Blade was the one that had that crazy. That one where they were fighting all the multiple people at the same time.
Yes, that people have said can't be a real trailer.
Yes,
yeah. That's the one.
That one I'm hyped for with the music. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, the other one, Phantom Blade Zero, that definitely looks like almost like a Stellar Blade type thing. So like I love Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade was great. The pacing, the story, the visuals, the game like really was good. I really thought they did such a good job in that game, and I'm down for it. Those are those action games. I'm ready for it. For both of those games, I'll get them.
Yeah, it's these games. So it's Tides of Annihilation, Phantom Blade Zero, and shit, we just said it.
Lost Souls Side.
Lost Souls Side. Thank you. Good lord. LSA. Those games are all games that have been shown more this year, that have definitely earned a spot in my wallet. Like, they're going to get my money as soon as they drop. I knew Ghost of Yotai, whenever it came out, was going to get my money, so that wasn't a surprise. Like, I'm talking about games that like actually surprised me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's one of them. That's a game I'm playing day one. And so I'm at Hero Down Under. Expedition 33, I think, broke Hero in more ways than one, because now he's just like, all games, I'm buying all games.
Yeah, buy them all. Why not?
It just,
I didn't even finish Cleric's Edition. I'm playing now Death Stranding 2.
you know, I feel that so much. That's what happened with me, and that's happened with me in several games, man. Like,
oh, tons of games. Even the hell was it? The Kingdom Come 2. Man, I was addicted to that, and then something else came.
Did you beat Kingdom Come?
No.
No.
No, I love the game, and I still didn't beat it. Every time I get into it, I'm like, oh, something else came out.
It's definitely one of those things that if I had 20 hours a week to game, I would probably beat more games, but I don't. So I literally, like, I've thought about doing like a game of the month segment. Like, I buy one new game a month, whether it's an on sale title or a whatever title, and like that's all I mainline until I beat it for that month. But then I'm thinking, man, like, I don't want to tie myself. Like, I've really been enjoying going back to older titles, right? Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X. I just picked back up Metaphor, and now it has its claws back in me again. Like, once I get off the stream tonight, I am playing. I will be playing Metaphor again, grinding some levels, getting my stuff unlocked. I can't stop now. Like, I'm back in it.
I bought that game on PC. I played about 5 hours in it. I can't. I tell you, I get the games, I play them, and then I just keep them in my library. And then I'm sitting here going back through what is it? I was playing Last of Us Part 2 again. Like, I'm like, I'm going through that again. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Well, and this is why I kind of pity other channels that like pigeonhole themselves to just gaming releases, because like, man, unless it's your full-time job, how much crap are you missing out on? Like, how many other things would you rather be playing, right? Like, you're missing, to me, you miss out on your creature comforts. And
I know, yeah.
Jake Baldino actually talks about this. He's like, a lot of times I don't get to just play games that I want to play because I'm having to do something for the channel or having to do this. So he's talked about before, like, he had a week off and he was able just to do whatever he wanted and play whatever he wanted. And he was like, man, I went back to go play Tony Hawk.
Well, yeah, I spent the whole weekend playing Gears of War, and I'm like, yeah, I wanted to play it.
Jez, how is it? Please tell me it's good. Please, I've seen your streams. Please tell me that the campaign is going to be good. Please tell me the
campaign's going to be. Yeah, campaign's going to be good. It's going to be the same thing.
Because I really want to see what all the hype is about.
Did you never played it before?
He's never played it.
Never.
Ever.
Never.
Not old.
And I actually want to see what the hype is about.
The first campaign was good, but it was nothing like 2 and 3.
So should I just wait for 2?
I don't know if you're gonna wait, but I can tell you, see, the problem with the first campaign, it was like at the time it was great, but going back after like it was all right, but there was definitely, I don't know, it's slower pace. It's slower pace. The second and third got wild. It got crazy.
Okay.
Like there's like, I would say, like the Brumac, like that huge thing, right? This huge Brumac. In the first game, he's on rails. He's behind the thing. You just shoot his head. By the third game, he's fighting you on the beach. Like, you're running around underneath his feet and stuff. It's crazy. Like, the third game, you're fighting a huge Brumac. Like, and you're running around with them. So that was the difference of the tech, how they kind of improved it over time. This was the first Unreal 2, I think, Unreal 3 game. So, like, they were just showing the tech off. So there's definitely, it's slower paced, more of lighting, more horror elements. But then it got into the popcorn, action-packed with 2 and 3.
Okay.
But it's good. I don't know if you're going to come out of there going, oh, my God, like, this is it. Like,
so Henry Heck just gave it one of the biggest seals of approval he could give it for me. He said the movement. He said the movement is like Outriders, but the story in Gears is way better. And Outriders to me was a game.
Was faster.
Okay, so you've played Space Marine 2. So is it faster or slower than Space Marine 2?
Slower.
Holy shit! Okay. All right, we ain't gonna make any decisions live on the air. I'll think about this because that's.
I'm probably going to refund my Gears. I'll tell you that. That multiplayer.
I was watching when you said that.
I'm waiting.
You're like, I'm refunding this shit.
I think I am. I'm like, it's just, the thing is that single player, that campaign, that multiplayer is just too antiquated. Somebody told me in my chat that they were going to add Horde mode. I'm like, that's crazy because Horde mode wasn't in the first game. It was in the second one.
See, I've only
I
heard
don't
people say
know.
that they should add horde mode. I haven't seen anybody say
Oh,
that they
maybe I was
have.
reading it fast.
I could have been wrong, but like,
They're not adding it. This game is just it's just a skin of Ultimate, which we played 10 years ago, which is a remake of a game that was 10 years older than that.
okay, well,
So
we,
I don't know. Like you can't go wrong with it. Like it's a classic, but I don't know if you're gonna come away going, that was an absolute,
because what I
great
want to do is I
story.
want to be able to come away from it going, oh, okay, I see where the following came from. Got it. Like, I played Death Stranding a little bit. I played about 5.5 hours of it, and I did like 3 missions in it. And the walking between the story points is enough to do me in. I can't. It makes me pass out and go to sleep. I was
Oh, okay.
so bored the second stream that like I ended it early because I was literally nodding off because the story of that game is so good and intriguing and I'm locked in and it's great. And then they send me out with packages and I'm bored for the next 20 minutes. Like that's like, and I know the traversal gets better. This gets better. It's a slow burn. I get that. But we've already talked a little bit tonight. I have a lot of games that I like playing. And I have a lot of titles that I'm going to enjoy. And so, because of that, I want to make sure that my gaming time is used on stuff that I'm going to enjoy. That's why none of my reviews are really trash like games. Because I don't have time to waste on crap that I think I'm not going to like.
Yeah, but see, the thing with Death Stranding, and I agree, like for somebody who loves action-packed games and stuff like that, that is a different type, but it's a different type of game. Like you're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Right.
But the thing is that the traversal, the challenge of you can't just jump over these cliffs, so just climb up everything. You got to really plan your route. You got to kind of see which is the least path, the least resistance, and that's the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of the game, is how to traverse the land. The land is the enemy, and the BTs are in it too. But the land is kind of you versus nature. Like it's almost like a camping adventure type thing where you got to make sure, do I get a ladder? Can I put a ladder here? Can I use my, like if you put a ladder down, you only had one, you didn't have two. So if you come across a river, you better find out where you could cross, or you got to walk down the river. So
Listen,
it's really
I'll say
like,
this. Shout out to the folks
is
in
a
that
game.
game who left ladders before me so I could use their ladders. That was
and
really
that's
cool.
the cool part too. That is the awesome part. Or they leave vehicles for you and things like that. They built the highway. Once you get it on network, once you get people on the network, then all of a sudden you see how it opens up, because now there's a friggin' full ass highway that you could drive across all this stuff. You don't have to crawl back and forth on it. You just, the highway shows up
Yeah.
and there's vehicles placed. So like it does open up, but yeah, the first game had a slow story that if you were just playing it, you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And
I've heard Creature Comforts in the second one are much, much better.
Oh yeah, the second one starts the way the first one should have started, explaining it and like what you're doing, and like you can plan your routes now and things like that, and you kind of, they tell you to take things. There's a much better introduction to the systems of the game in the second game, whereas the first game they just kind of dropped you saying, head over there, and you're stumbling over rocks, tripping over things. Like, what the hell happened? You don't even know what's going on. But the second one really kind of explains, like, gives you a better hands-on tutorial. That was one of the feedbacks I'm sure they took from the first game, because and it's so nice to see it again and the way they refined it. But that's why when they put the
didn't
money in,
Kojima
you make the
have like a
sequels.
thing against tutorial? Like he doesn't like them?
Yeah, well, but the way he did it in this one, it's part of the story, and there's more pop-ups and much more visuals rather than somebody just telling you stuff. There's a lot more information and a lot more better feedback, I think, so far, what I'm seeing in the first couple hours in the second game. The first one you kind of not, like, you were just like, huh? The second one is part of the story, and he kind of rolls it in there, and then you realize, like, oh, I'm purposely doing this. It's a little kind of, it's not on rails, but you know that the terrain that they started with was definitely to kind of show you the different elements and what you're going to be facing once you get caught in the open. So it's sort of like a tutorial, but it's still progressing in the game. It's not like tutorial mode and then you start, part one.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's funny enough.
And the way they recap the first story, like, you could really technically just jump into 2. The way they talk about the first
That's
game,
the other thing I've heard is that
you can.
people who didn't like there was somebody posted today that people who don't like number 1 or couldn't get into it should at least give number 2 a try because
you could jump right into 2.
because you can jump right in, and
Yep.
instead of the slow burn in the first one being 10 to 20 hours, the slow burn in this one is only about 2 to 4. And they were saying maximum of 5 hours, and you are in the thick of it, and you're just on go.
Yeah.
And so
No, totally.
I might give it a shot. I don't know, man. I'm really enjoying my.
And I'm gonna tell you one other thing that was annoying in the first one. Again, this is what I experienced in the second one. Is that the first one, when you would go into an encampment where there's enemy encampment and they had a barrier, as soon as you walked into it, they were coming after you, and you're like, "Oh, this sucks!" Like now they're up my ass. Whereas the second one, if you have enemies, you could kind of go like Metal Gear Solid style. Like they need to spot you, so you could sneak in and get them. So the first enemy encounters in the second one, I felt a little bit more action oriented and more of like a Metal Gear Solid type thing where you could just kind of infiltrate the base and do that. Whereas the first game, when you crossed into enemy territory, they were sending out jeeps and shit all over the place. Even if you just crossed into their area, and it made it just like an annoyance. So the second one, I'm not seeing that yet. I just saw I was like, oh wow, now I could actually, because I avoided combat because of that, because I just wanted to deliver the package, and these people were just in my way. I just
want to do my job. Just want to deliver.
Yeah, and happened to cross into their zone, and as soon as I crossed into the orange, it's like detected, and all of a sudden these dudes just show up out of nowhere throwing spears at me. Like, like, oh man. So
that's like in Assassin's
I didn't
Creed
see that yet.
when the screen turns like red, and you're like, oh shit, I'm in a spot where I'm not supposed to be.
Yeah, see, Henry says the beacon in the first game. Yeah, I know, because it was annoying as hell. Like, it was sort of like, I don't even know how you're supposed to even infiltrate those things. I didn't even do it. I played the whole game. I didn't even try to infiltrate a base. I tried it once, and I'm like, I'm not doing this shit.
I'm out.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, this is too much. I don't want to deal with it.
Speaking of being out, so it's, here's the thing, guys. I might, if I wanted to, if I cared about the amount of games that I beat on a yearly basis, I have a game that is coming out soon, August 12th, and that game is going to allow me to put the controller down, and I could technically beat a game without doing much of nothing. And that game, courtesy of Xbox, is, wait for it, Hellblade 2. And, shocker,
you're not playing that.
Hell no. This is all a facetious lead-in, sir. This is all a bullshit lead-in. So, Xbox Looker Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 runs at a creative decision, design decision, cinematics decision, creative movie, 60 fucking frames per second. 60 frames per second. I need everybody.
Where's Huggy? I need to speak with him.
Where's God?
Huggy said once we get Unreal Engine 5 games taking advantage of all the technology Unreal 5 offers, we are going to be seeing a lot more 30 frames per second games this generation.
Said stop enough.
Yeah, exactly. He is a clown, and it is hilarious that he's been proven wrong again and again. Yeah.
But don't worry, guys.
Aaron Greenberg tweeting out that 60 frames will be the minimum that you'll be playing this generation.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Like, I heard somebody the other day, or I saw somebody the other day defending 30 frames per second.
You gotta play Death Stranding 2. That's all I'm saying. Holy shit, this game's crazy.
Dude, I hate that
you gotta finish Death Stranding 1 first.
Nah, skip it. Just go right to 2, man.
Skip it.
Yo, the way you could hide in the brush now. Yo, this is like
okay.
This is like he invoked Metal Gear in this one. This one's fun now.
Okay, so Bel Dante with the 20 and the troll. I appreciate you. Love you, Bel Dante. It says, LOL, slow burn in DS1. Tell me you didn't get to episode 3 without telling me you did. I told you I didn't get to episode 3. What the fuck? Like, I said where I got. I put 5.5 hours in. did some missions, got told by my chat that I was further along than some of them were after 5 hours, and then I yawned, started to fall asleep, and I shut it off. That's where I got.
Oh no.
If a game puts me to sleep, listen, it's not always an automatic I'm done, but it is an automatic I'm gonna wait a day or two to play you again. Because my brain isn't engaged. Like, I've disconnected. Like, right now, my brain is engaged even though we've been doing this. Hey, we've been doing this for an hour and 10 minutes. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Do all of those things. We got like 35 people
Josh,
in
I
here.
haven't done that.
I can't tell you how many times when I'm watching your show, you're like, hit that freaking like button. And I'm like, oh shit, he's talking to me. I forgot.
That's right. I see Thrifty come in there. I know you didn't hit it.
You just
I got
assume
a
I
special
didn't
overlay
say
that says
shit.
Thrifty didn't hit that like button.
Thrifty didn't hit the like button.
No, I get all hyped up when I'm telling you, I'm scared of these microphones on these phones. I think they listen to me. They fed me another Phil Spencer interview. Like, I'm just listening to somebody. I was listening to Porter Rock's podcast, and all of a sudden, it just led into a Phil Spencer interview when he announced Game Pass. And I'm like, holy crap, I got to cover this now. Like, it is him on Ryan McCaffrey's thing, talking about when he just launched Game Pass.
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
oh, shit. I'm like, now it's more. Oh, man. Anyway.
So, this game is coming, and what's hilarious about it is, one, the design decision, the creative decision. Please, Xbox, god dang, see a pattern here. They are lying to you every time they say that. They are pushing games out early to meet a quota, to give you something to wet your whistle on Game Pass, because if you leave Game Pass in droves, then they have nothing. And so because of that, they're sending these games out early, making you pay extra for early access, Starfield, to a game, to early access DLC that you can't even access if you stop subscribing to Game Pass unless you purchase the game outright. So now you pay $20 a month to play a title, and then if you get rid of it but you bought DLC, well, now you have to pay $70 or $60 or $50 to actually buy the game to play the DLC. They are lying to you the entire time. It's because their systems are a pain in the ass to optimize for, even by their own developers. Or it's because they're rushing it out and not giving their developers even the adequate amount of time. Not with Hellblade. Obviously, that game was in development for 7 years. So, like, wasn't it 7 years, 6
after
years?
they finished their other game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They did release another game in between there, right?
Bleeding Edge. And then they released it and stopped supporting it in less than a year.
Yeah, geez.
Shit. Twisted Sin, member of 12 months. Thanks, Twisted. Jez, was it 27 yawns or 29? I can't remember.
Oh, it was 20. It was a record-breaking 27 yawns.
27
Hellblade
yawns.
2. That's why I said when you were saying Death Stranding 2 made you yawn, I'm like, oh, you're not playing Hellblade.
Not playing Hellblade. No, I would. Holy shit! What the fuck? Steven Leon with the $200.
God damn.
Here's some for your boy for the vacation you're going on in September. Opening my DS2 collector's pack. We'll send pics in the Discord. Good to see Jez and Wara on. We are eating good. Holy shit, dude. Thanks, man. Yeah, I am. I won a trip to Atlanta, so I'm going there, and then I'm going taking the family back down to Florida at the end of July. So, yeah, like, thanks, man. That's super awesome. Speaking of that, though, guys, literally, hit the like button. It's free. You don't have to come in here and give money. It's free to hit the like button. Help me out. Also, Steven, thank you. Twisted Sin, thank you. Bale Dante, y'all have been killing it. Holy shit balls. What the fuck were we talking? Let's get
can
this
I ask a question?
Yeah.
We're talking about Hellblade.
Is this gonna is Hellblade 2 gonna run 60 frames per second on the new Xbox VR headset?
Oh, shit.
Wait a second.
I don't know. It depends if they're streaming. Are they streaming at 60 frames? I guess. At
Hang on.
1080p, probably.
Hang on, because we have the power of the fucking internet. When I saw this, I didn't even touch this with a 10-foot pole. I saw Jez was covering it. I was like, Jez got this.
Man.
I ain't got to fuck with this. Because
I
I'm like...
covered it more than I needed to.
this thing...
Yeah. Well, it's good that you went through it and you pointed out that, before Facebook even bought out the headset, that they had the Xbox controller being sold with it
Yeah.
still on
Yeah.
stage.
And the
I
whole
did
point
watch-
of
I
that
did
was
watch that
to be
episode
relevant.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was just to be relevant, you know, because Sony was coming out with their VR later that year, and Microsoft didn't have anything, and just to kind of put their nose in it, they threw a controller in there with the Oculus.
And this is what they do every time. There's always this. We're doing it too, undercooked.
But not the right
option
way.
that they are offering. Yeah, exactly. It's still just like slap an Xbox badge on it now.
Slap a sticker on it. Exactly. Yeah, we got a VR head. It's like, yeah. Anyway,
What's the
Like,
future
who's
of
gonna plug that
Xbox?
thing into the computer?
The future of Xbox is slapping your
Exactly.
fucking green and black all over everything. Like,
Well, you know what's
that's-
interesting is I was watching because on Facebook they had an announcement, like on my Facebook feed they had an announcement of this thing, and if you look at the comments, people are like, well, what is the purpose of this? I could just do this on my Meta Quest, and it says, I guess you get a controller, like that's it. Like people are catching on to knowing, like, well, wait, this is an Xbox. What does it do? Xbox E, you know, what is the reason for it? And they go, nothing. You could do everything that this does, and we're already seeing that with the ROG Ally. The features of that Xbox app are already being rolled out in beta to everybody that has Windows
Well,
to
yeah.
test it.
And I saw an article today that's pushing, like, that says, you know, with Xbox entering the market, PlayStation needs to develop another handheld. And I'm like, Xbox didn't enter shit. What are you
I
talking
know,
about?
right?
Like,
Xbox entered the handheld market. It's like, I'm telling you, know what's crazy?
I didn't use the
how
article tonight.
How dumb people are, and you know what's crazy? It's the people that do this for a living. And it's like they are so clueless. They must get so much free shit. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Because they haven't bought an electronic device in years. I think that's the problem. They've been ultra glazed with free shit because the people that have tech channels and computer channels and things like that are the most clueless dumbasses I've ever seen. Like, let me watch this thing, and they're like, oh my god, Xbox is doing this now. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? They're like, I wonder if this handheld plays Steam games. And this guy's thinking about it. He's like, well, if it plays Steam games, that means it has to run full Windows. But this is a slimmed down version of Windows. Like, no, it's
my
not, you
God.
fucking idiots. It's Windows with an app.
That's the misinformation that Microsoft wants out there.
Oh,
They
of
want
course.
These tech channels who can sit there and go and release a little notice on their channel later saying, "Oh, we realize that this
We were
information was incorrect."
wrong.
4
Yeah.
months later, after they've already, it's exactly the same thing, but the opposite for when that guy who was a tech guy for fixing a PS5 back in 2022.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh, the liquid metal can fall off. I noticed that liquid metal.
Oh, that
fell-
came
fell
back in
down.
the news
Oh,
conveniently.
yeah, yeah. And then 2 weeks later, oh, yeah, sorry, I was lying. But you've already got
Yeah.
2 weeks, and I had people for months after saying, oh, did you hear about this? I'm like, yeah, it was bullshit.
I was
Oh,
wrong.
okay.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just so
That's so
stupid.
true.
Because, like, these guys, like, I'm watching this show, and it's the dopes from, I don't know what channel they were from, but these were they're like, I wonder how this, they used to be, I forgot what the hell they're from, but they're like, they used to be talking, and they're talking, it's like, well, if this runs a slimmed down version of, I'm like, dude, it is friggin' an Xbox full screen picture mode that is going to allow your desktop applications from Steam to run in it. And it is basically full-blown Windows. The app is going to do startup, and the app will probably limit some processes like the taskbar or Windows updates or notifications or maybe OneNote. Who knows? Microsoft doesn't allow you to ask questions. And that's the other thing a lot of them reveal is that, when Microsoft showed this to us, we only were allowed to hold it for 5 minutes, and they didn't have any answers to the questions about, like, what's this going to shut down? They had no answers. And you couldn't
that's-
ask them any
yeah.
questions.
That's
Because
why
they
you
didn't
shouldn't
know.
trust exactly. And
Wild
you shouldn't
Wolf,
trust anyone,
which stupidity.
any of these theories on how fast it's gonna run everything and all the rest. It's like a lot of people don't realize that the performance that when you see a performance metric, it might be when it's docked or it might be on the highest mode that gives really short battery life, and then they'll say on the highest spec to run 60 FPS at native like 720p or whatever, or 1080p, whatever, whichever the native resolution is, that will give 1 hour of battery life. And then later they'll go, in gaming at the lowest voltage setting to, and you might get 20 frames per second at 720 or
20
540p.
frames.
Yeah,
Playable.
like less, but you'll get 4 hours. So then the people who are stupid or deliberately trying to mislead consumers will go, you can play it at 1080p for 4 hours at 60 frames per second, right? Do you get what I'm saying? That they're taking the two different modes and they're deliberately being misleading, and so people just anyway. It's a really expensive handheld. I don't see anyone buying it really much now.
The thing is that it's really they are focusing on the Xbox app, and it's going to run Windows because Steam is not making it's not an Xbox OS. Even when you hear Microsoft now, they're just like how they're calling everything an Xbox. They're being very cautious into saying the Xbox full experience. This is not like Xbox OS. This is not a separate form, because the thing is that then none of these games will work because all the games are running PC versions of these games. These are all PC versions. Steam. How does your whole library work if the Xbox OS just launches their games, but then if you want Steam, it boots up into Windows? Like, dude, it's in Windows.
Yeah, and with the timing of all this,
it's a Windows app.
Yeah, with the timing of all this, as you know, as Baldante mentioned, with all the other apps running in the background, you'll get told to sign up for OneDrive. You'll get told to sign up for OneDrive.
Yeah, you're telling me that Microsoft Office 365 is not going to be popping up. And what's crazy, Wara, like when you look at what Windows has become, it is a fucking ad. It gets ads all over the place. You go to settings, it's like, hey, why don't you sign up for Game Pass? Hey, you have that free trial Microsoft 365. Hey, by the way, OneDrive is great. Do you want more space? Everywhere you go in Windows, Edge is like, hey, you should use us. We use Chromium. They're marketing and advertising for all their shit in Windows. There's ads in Windows. You think that they're going to shut those off? They're going to funnel those right into the Xbox app. Hey, by the way, you like Xbox? Why don't you Office 365? You could save you. Like, trust me, they're gonna. That's why they want you on their app, so they could get ad revenue, and that's why they want Steam games and Epic games to launch from there, because they want you to live in their app, because then they can control the data and they can control the advertisements that they're feeding you in the Xbox app. Hell, they put ads on the console on the front page.
They want your telemetry. They want your analytics.
Exactly.
That's why they're getting away from the Xbox operating system, and they just want Windows, so they can have all that crap in the background. They can have recall and all that crap.
Recall! You gotta go into like.
It's all gonna be on there.
It's all
there. AI chips. That's why they're AI chips, because that way recall is gonna be
on there, taking pictures of your games.
Yep.
And they're trying to say like, oh, ask AI, it will help you with your game. Oh, bullshit. There's a search engine that can help you with the game. You don't need AI to tell you about it, the trash-ass games.
And I can't be convinced that this isn't a coincidence that SteamOS just started launching on other handhelds, and then Windows wants to come in and be like, we've got an Xbox operating, you know.
It's the whole reason why.
Yeah.
Just like they threw a controller with the Oculus. It's to be a Me Too. All of a sudden, SteamOS... Yeah, you're right. As soon as SteamOS runs on a Lenovo, guess what happens? Oh, we're fixing the Xbox app. 10 years, they did nothing with it.
10 years, they didn't do shit.
Nothing with it. They're like, oh, yeah, well, we compact mode in 9 years. Dude, they did nothing. Asus ROG, they were sitting there. I did the video. They were sitting right there with them going, we're partnering with Asus for Xbox Game Pass. And like, nobody thought about fixing the experience for the handheld. You're sitting there right there. You partnered with them 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You were sitting there with the ROG Ally, the first one. And nobody said, hey, why don't we make the experience better for the user? They couldn't give a fuck. They didn't care less. But as soon as SteamOS comes out now and Lenovo comes out, all of a sudden, here comes the Sarah Bond and the Phil Ness train. Talk about how we're fixing Windows and bringing it. Dude, oh, man, I can't wait for this thing to fall. As soon as it announces the price, everybody's going to throw this shit in the garbage.
Yeah. There'll be a couple of what are they called? Influencers, Xbox influencers.
Oh, they're all getting it for free anyway.
I mean, exactly, yeah. Oh, look at it. I got, it's amazing.
It's not bad. Did you pay $1,000?
On the way yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, real quick, Stephen
we're
Leon.
talking about Hellblade 2.
Oh, no, you are totally fine.
60 frames per second.
We got a couple things that we're going to discuss real quick. Twisted Sin is going to get me off on a rabbit trail, but that's okay. Stephen Leon with the 10 gifted members. David, Brett. Hey, you got Brett. Heck yeah. Shadow of the Ghost, Joseph Lamprin, Nelson Gaming. Nelson, see, if you hang out here, good things happen. Alan TV, James Williams, Lunchy Sky, Priscilla T, Marty McFly. That is awesome.
Hey,
Thank
those
you.
are some grinders
So
there.
those,
Got 'em.
man, listen. These are some of the first folks that actually picked up their own memberships, and then Steven, man, he just comes in, drops these bombs left and right. If I had the experience points, he'd probably have 1,000,000 of them by this point. Twisted Sin also with the $5 and a member of the channel. You saw that the Switch 2 screen can't actually do 60 or 120 hertz. The game can. That screen will not give you that. It's false advertising. Okay, and then Wara, you said I want an article. So I did find where the Switch 2 in handheld will not do 120 frames per second, but it will try to do 60. It's just been inconclusive at this point if it will be stable.
Twisted Sin said hertz. He didn't say frames. So is he talking hertz or frames?
Okay.
Because you just did frames.
I did frames because I always confuse the two because Plastic Box makes fucking picture. Like this is just...
Okay, well the refresh rate just means the screen refreshing. You can have 120 hertz, but the game could be running 10 frames per second.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Right,
I got
so,
you. Like my
yeah.
PC monitor's 240 hertz. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so if he's saying that the Switch 2 screen isn't a 120 hertz screen, then I want an article showing that it's not a 120 hertz screen.
Hang on. Switch 2.
I'm not denying it. I'm just asking.
120
Like, it's a big claim.
hertz.
Because otherwise the VIR is completely pointless if it
Green?
can't do 120 hertz.
Yes, it supports 7.9. Okay, no, it is a 120 hertz screen. It also supports HD. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm not doing that. I was reading the freaking
AI response.
AI bullshit, and I was like, nope, Wara's in the
that.
back of my head saying, please don't do that. You're better than that.
Don't do that. Shit.
Okay, so it is a 1080p. This is from Games Radar. The new handheld boasts a 1080p. That was before release, though. I'll have to do some research on that because I fully think that that's correct because that's why it'll do it in docked mode, but it won't do it in handheld. Like, you can't get 120 frames per second in handheld. You can't use...
No. The VRR is meant to work.
No, it's the VRR you can't do undocked.
Yeah, docked. Yeah, docked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's meant to work in handheld.
Yeah.
See, I'll have to research that before
yeah.
I open my mouth and say
You
something
could get...
I shouldn't.
Well, there's nothing that really supports the 120 yet.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I find funny as well. No one's buying this for the VRR display or the
No.
120 hertz. But
Not even a
if
little
they're
bit.
advertising that.
And what
if
they're
they're
saying is that the
advertising,
screen is a very poor it's a very poor screen, the LCD that they're using. They're not using a very high quality LCD.
Yeah, it's so they can sell the Switch to OLED in a year's time.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
But I tell you, the thing is though, is that I have it. I play on the Switch 2 screen. It looks good. The games look good on it. So, it's just their thing. Like, but Nintendo. That's why I thought it was very funny when everybody was trying to put like specs of the Switch 2 and comparing it to PS5. I'm like, dude, you're not in that game. You back the hell off and play your goddamn Goo Goo Gaga, Mario Kart, great, but you do not go on any spec train list and comparing shit because Nintendo is using goddamn Mario mushrooms to make that shit.
I got to tell you this real quick. So my son's Switch broke. He not the Switch itself. We had him those nori oversized attachments for the controller, right? They're make it bigger and make it better for his hands. And you're good, Wara. And so while we were trying to get him to earn money, because he was the one that dropped it, he was the one that broke the controller. While we were trying to get him to earn money, we were sitting there and like looking at, hey, what to buy, what to get, all of that stuff. And so during that time, though, he started playing Minecraft, the PS4 version, mind you, on the PlayStation. And the first load-in that he does, he goes, Dad, this looks gorgeous. This looks amazing. Look at the water. It has texture to it. Like, you can see the shadow of the water moving on top. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, this is last generation PS. This is PS4. It's called gaming. Like, right? Like, and he goes, well, it can't do that on the Switch. And I said, fun fact, I saw some videos today because I was researching the Switch 2 for you. It can't do that on the Switch 2. So, just letting you know, that thing still runs Minecraft like ass. He goes, well, then I guess I'll just keep my regular Switch because it runs everything just fine. And I was like, okay, because like it doesn't improve the graphics even of Minecraft. And so he's like, so now he's sitting here, and I'm thinking to myself, because we were gonna get him a Switch 2 for Christmas, and I have the office door open, and I don't need him to hear this, but we were planning on getting him a Switch 2 for Christmas. And like now, I told my wife, I was like, maybe we just need to get him a small TV, 32-inch, 40-inch, whatever, hang it on the wall, and get the kid like a digital-only PS5, right? Just throw him a PS5 in there, let him have fun, let him go to town. And she was like, really? I said, yeah, he would probably love it, and because it's no longer fully handheld, unless I got him a Portal 2, which I probably would because the Portal's amazing. But like, as long as it's not handheld, he would game a little less and maybe get some more shit done around the house. So like, it's almost a win-win, and I could save myself about $150 if I just got him a PS5. So, anyways, long way to say that games on the Switch, you are absolutely right. Should just stick with your Zeldas, stick with your Pokemon, stick with your Donkey Kongs, stick with all the exclusives, which are the reasons why you buy certain consoles in the first place. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If Mario came to PlayStation, nobody would buy a fucking Nintendo. It just wouldn't happen.
I know that too. And know what too? Like, and you saw with the sales, like Cyberpunk, like those third-party games did not do well on the Switch, and that's why I thought it was hilarious. These influences again, Cyberpunk on the Switch. It's like, dude, nobody's buying a Switch for Cyberpunk. First off, it's an old ass game. Secondly, nobody wants to play it on a Switch when you can play it on a Steam Deck. You can play it everywhere else. The handheld novelty of Cyberpunk ended 3 years ago. Like that's what I mean. Like these tech people, it's just to get the fluff piece up and just to cause any kind of. Like it's so annoying that
it's to fondle the sacks of all these companies that give them free shit. Like that's what
exactly, dude.
That's why
because
I
if
hate
they said, "Hey, this thing is really not worth it," guess what they get the next time they get released? They're not getting it.
Man, I hate people who do that too. Like it's one of the reasons why. Like, and this is with anything. When we bought our new espresso machine, my first criteria was like I'd watch the introduction of the video, and if I heard this is what Ninja sent me, fuck you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
this is sponsored.
This is what Phil sent me.
I don't want to hear another thing out of your mouth.
Sending me $1,000 thing, and then I'm like, dude, look how many Series X's they sent out. Remember that when the X came out, everybody was getting one.
Yeah, and so the guy I finally picked for it,
and no one could buy one. That's what was such bullshit about it. Is so many people wanted a Series. Well, not so many. People wanted a Series X. Well, there was a lot of hope at the start of the gen. Let's be real. There was hope for Xbox.
There was hope.
A lot of people wanted the Series X, but none of them were available because they wanted people to get the Series S. Yeah. And all these influencers got a Series X. It's like, this is terrible marketing. You're getting these people to advertise that they got a Series X for free.
But I'll tell you right back.
The consumers are mad.
I'll tie it right back to what Thrifty was talking about. The Series S got left behind with Hellblade 2. No 60 frames for booster.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not parity.
Even on the update.
Oh, they're not
no, I didn't read down that far.
Yet again, no performance modes for the Series S. No, it's actually a tweet from Ninja Theory said performance modes will only be on Xbox and PlayStation. And somebody said, "Is this the Xbox S?" They said, "Not." Nope.
They just said no.
So tell me. They just said no. It's not coming to no performance modes on the S. They said performance modes will be on PS5 and Xbox consoles. So tell me again that they wanted to sell that S. You're right, because they would not show. They are purposely holding back games from the Series X. They're capable of running 60 frames, but they won't do it because it will make the X the more attractive product and really show the S. So what they're doing is, now we know they're holding back 30 frames on X, on Starfield, on Hellblade 2, to make the S look similar to the Xbox and not give the X inherent advantage. They're purposefully doing that because there's nothing. Like, now they put 60 frames in it. The same thing with Starfield. They added 60 frames after the fact. Same thing with the launching Redfall. Like, if Redfall wasn't a piece of shit, they probably would have kept it at 30 frames. But Redfall waited for 60 frames as well. They're doing it. They're launching those games at 30 frames because of the S, and they don't want the S to They don't want the X to be the better product, and what sucks is that they're charging $200 more now, even $150 more for the premium product, but they're not giving them the premium experience. That's fucked up.
And
I just feel bad. I feel bad for anyone who bought the Series X.
Dude,
because they were lied to. Their marketing was all about power.
They lied, dude. They totally. And what's crazy is because the X has more power than the PlayStation 5, and you're telling me that they can't even get this game, and now the game comes to PlayStation, and now you're like, okay, well, cat's out of the bag now. Now we could leave the S behind and not give it a performance mode. And on top of that, because other third-party developers are doing the same thing, the S rarely gets a performance mode in a lot of these newer games. The X is the one that gets the options, but the S doesn't. And
then there was a lot of hope from the Xbox podcasters that towards the end of the gen you would get the tools and you'd get more tools. We saw it with the PS4, like the last not the Last of Us, but the Last of Us Part 2. Sorry, towards the end of the PS4 gen, we started getting really good games for the PS4 visually, and I think that's what they expected with the Series S. But it's not the case when that's the weak hardware. It's got less power than we already know this, but less power than the Xbox One X. That's got 6 terabytes.
Yeah, it was 4.
Series S has only got 4. It was, in my opinion, it was all about making xCloud look less of a drop in fidelity from the Series S to the xCloud versus Series X to xCloud, but also about forcing people subconsciously to a diskless world. And a lot of people have adopted it, but the thing is with the disk
that's a good
drive,
point too. Yeah.
Yeah, with the disk drive on the PS5 Slim, you have the choice, and the Pro as well. You have the choice to add the disk drive if you get a diskless one.
Exactly.
But with the Series S, you don't have that option, and it's just all about digital future and accept it or complain. And we won't
just accept it or complain. But
it is crazy that they're not doing that. It is insane that they're and on top of that, I got triggered when they said that they're adding the rot mode as a mode. Meanwhile, that was the first game, was the rot. I remember complaining about Hellblade 2 when I was playing it, that the rot was the first game. When you died, you got the rot on you, and then it would have been permadeath if you got the rot, which they really never explored that. It was kind of like a tease. You don't really perma die in the game, but it would say as you got the rot, like it came up to my neck. Every time you died, there was like a tracking that you died, and the rot would grow. There was no rot. Like that's why I hated the second game, because you died and it just put you right back into it. Like respawn, you're like right there. What the hell happened? Like
rush development.
Dude, it reminded me so much of like what was it? The Dragon's Lair, like the way you failed something and then I failed a cutscene and then just like put you right back at the beginning of that cutscene. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, where's the rot? Where's the intensity? You just die and it just says you're dead, and it puts you right back in the middle of the animation fight. And now they added the enhancement. Now they added the rot mode. I'm like, you bums.
Yeah, they're releasing games unfinished. Like we've been saying this for ages, and then other people have been defending it, saying they're not unfinished. It's like, well, it's undeniable with Redfall because it had a 60 FPS fucking sticker on thing on the box, and they had to put a sticker on to say it's not. So tell me that's not rushed. There's no denying that.
Right. I think what they're doing now, and this is something I was thinking about earlier, and I know we always joke about, I called it back in November, but like last year, literally I said the PlayStation 5 Pro and the PlayStation 5 were going to save Xbox games. I said that, I nailed it. And now look what's happening. They are able to use the fact that it's going to the PS5 as a scapegoat reason to give the Xbox Series X players parity with the PS5 in these 60 FPS modes. And that's what's happening. It's the exact thing. And so people are looking at that. Well, of course they're going to do it because they don't want their Xbox Series X people to feel like second class to PlayStation 5. But what they're not realizing is that leaves all of the Series S people back here going, listen, you push this thing to us as the best deal in gaming and the best deal, and now we're getting shafted by y'all. It's different when we get shafted by other people, right? Okay, think about this. You and your significant other, your spouse, your girlfriend, your best friend, whatever, y'all are fighting. Or they say something. that just comes off as like, damn, that kind of hurts. That hurts a lot. Somebody else could say the same thing to you at a grocery store, and you're like, man, fuck off. Like, you don't care. Doesn't matter. It's because proximity, right? The proximity of the offense usually dictates the level or the severity of the offense, right? If a stranger comes in, breaks into my house, and takes my stuff, I'm mad, but whatever. If my best friend breaks into my house and takes all of my stuff, there's a different level of hurt there because of the proximity of the offender in my life to the offense. The same thing happens in this scenario. Xbox Series X and S owners, they have been given shit for 4 years under the guise of creative decisions and all of these other things.
Series A, sorry.
No, no, he's right. Thrifty said they made it. They said it was creative decision.
Right.
Man, they skinned the hell out of them.
And then they sit here and now.
Hang on, you gotta read Bal Dante's.
I gotta read. Oh yeah. Okay, so Bel Dante said pegging is only allowed when done by a specific person. No pegging. I hate you, Wara. So basically, like, what I'm trying to convey here is these Xbox Series S owners who were sold this bill of goods, who were sold this thing.
Sorry,
what did I miss?
Can I answer Old Man Gaming Guru's question with my
What do you
my
guys
theory?
think will happen to GTA on the? Sure. Here, let me say mine, so I'm not picking it back off of anybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me say this. GTA 6 is going to run at 30 frames per second, probably 27, on the Series S. It is going to hit about 57 to 60 on the Series and no, I'm gonna say about 45 to 50 on the Series X. On the PS5 Pro, it'll hit, on the PS5 it'll hit around the same, and the Pro will have a locked 60. Those are my specs for the two consoles. Go ahead.
Want to hear this?
Others.
I think it's gonna be 30 on everything except for the Pro.
Oh no.
Well, okay.
That's
So we're
what
all
I
different.
Oh,
Because I
shit.
think it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be a
60.
Pro seller.
I think it's going to be 60 frames on everything, and the reasoning behind that is because GTA has so many developers, they have time to make sure it works, and they know that there's a lot of there's likely a lot of GTA
Dude, the way things are going now, like, what is Xbox gonna be when GTA releases in May? Like, what the hell? The way the console is being abandoned and abused right now, I can't imagine what May.
I'm open to being wrong. I'm not.
Unless they come out with a new. Unless they come out
like,
with a new version of their console at the end of this year, like a new skin or something. I can't imagine if they have the same old ass hardware on store shelves for next year. I don't even know. Like, that's why I thought this whole push for this is an Xbox. You're basically showing everything but the thing that's going to play GTA next year.
that's
you know, which I can't believe. Like, what is your strategy?
Clip it. I have a feeling that they're going to do it, and Microsoft's going to like pay them to make sure it's 60 on it because they want to make sure people are on there and.
They don't want people to buy their console anymore. I don't think they even care.
Yeah, and this could get us down the rabbit hole of is the Series S why GTA 6 is delayed? Like.
I don't know.
Oh my God, Thrifty! If GTA 6 is delayed to the end of next year, what the Xbox is gonna be? I don't know what it's gonna be by next
Xbox
end of
has
year.
no money left to tell them not to release that.
I feel like there's gonna be a really good clip if it is 60, and if not, then there I am wrong again.
I can't. But the thing is, I can't imagine. I don't unless Microsoft has some sort of November announcement where they come out with like a red Xbox S or some shit like that, or some pink one. I have no clue, like, who's gonna buy the same old white and black old ass hardware like in May when Microsoft is talking about handhelds. They're talking about Meta Quests, like, and all these things can't play GTA 6. So I don't even know.
It still can't do the shit you want it to.
It's still like, if they're really focused on the Xbox full screen experience, that full screen experience does not play GTA 6 unless they want to push it on the cloud. And they're like, this is the way to play it on the cloud. I guess GTA 6 may be that. I have no clue, or maybe it's play anywhere and they paid a boatload. But I don't think GTA to be given. It can't be play anywhere. It doesn't run on PC.
Triangle hands.
Well, and also that's another question is, how long do you think it's going to be until it's on PC? I think it's 6 months.
Oh, it's going to be a year.
I think it's going to be a year.
Over a
Yeah,
year.
I think because they're going to have to optimize, and they're going to optimize. And right now,
Dude,
guys,
they're in no rush. They're going to milk this game on PlayStation. This is going to be like, I'm telling you, GTA 6, I feel, is going to do to PlayStation what GTA 3 did to the PlayStation 2.
Sorry,
That's
Chad
right.
has me fucking
Yeah.
rolling. Josh just said, "Who will buy something with box in the name?"
Dude, the only box to be talking about is strip clubs in
The
GTA.
box.
That's what they're gonna be talking about.
Oh shit! So,
But like the thing is, like, I feel like, you know how everybody gravitated and bought a PS2, yeah, the DVD drive, but GTA 3 was that game that was like, you got to get a PlayStation for GTA 3, and I think GTA 6 is gonna be. That's going to move the entirety of the PS4 generation to them, and that's going to move the rest of whoever's left on Xbox to the PlayStation is going to be the definitive way, whether they get pros.
man.
But I feel like this is going to have the impact because it is the only, like, it's almost like PlayStation is the only gaming console right now because
It is.
Microsoft is not focused on it. They're not focused on their console at all. That's why I said it's the craziest time for them to be focusing on PC gaming with GTA in May. Like, dude, now's not you know, and if GTA gets even delayed further, Microsoft can't carry that console. Like, unless they have a Series X2 or an S2 and they have some hybrid PC one, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think they're that creative.
and Old Man Gaming. By the way, Old Man Gaming Guru, never seen you here before. Welcome to the playground, man. He said, crazy times ahead. What if the S gets skipped or maybe stream only on the S? Like, listen, if there's a game that can break parity or break the parity clause and make Microsoft bend over just a little bit, it's GTA 6. It is 100% GTA 6. They are the ones to do it. That game, whether I play the franchise, don't play the franchise, love it, hate it, whatever, there is no denying that that franchise has brought people, industry to its knees. Complete. Look at all the fucking games we have coming out August, September, October, November of this year. Why? When did we get dates for all of those games? We got them after GTA 6 announced that, hey, it's getting delayed, and everyone's like, holy shit, great. We
September.
we can.
I think everybody released their shit in September.
Yeah, like, shit. Like, it's already a genre-defining, or a generation-defining game. Like, already, and it hasn't even hit the freaking shelf. Yeah, and it hasn't even hit the shelf yet. And so, because of that, I fully believe that just like with Baldur's Gate 3, only to a greater extent, Baldur's Gate 3 was able to look at Xbox and go, yeah, we don't care. It's not coming over there because we can't get split screen to work on the S. Oh, well, you don't actually have to for that game. Oh, really? Cool. Here it is. Like, they made them bend the knee on their own parity clause. Imagine what a franchise like GTA could do to them to say, hey, listen, we can't get this damn thing to work natively on your potato. We're going to have to do cloud streaming only for that device. And Xbox is going to go, but okay. Like, that's what it's just... That's how this is going to happen.
Run. I just think they're going to run it at such a low resolution. Like, it's
what,
going to be
540
like
upscaled?
Maybe like 720p 30.
I mean, listen, 540
I'm telling you, it's not going to
upscaled.
get 60 frames on the S. There's no way.
No.
No way.
No.
Make sure we clip this if it does, because it'll be really good.
Yes, this whole conversation just needs to be turned
I think
into
the
its
only
own like
place where
video.
It'll be 60 will be on the Pro. I think it'll be 60 on the Pro, and it'll be 30 everywhere else.
Yeah, that's
I think that's the Pro. I don't think it's going to be 60 on the X and the PS5. I don't know if they're going to do performance modes.
I could see them doing.
I don't expect a performance mode. Yeah.
You
On
really?
the X and the PS.
Really?
On the
I
X
see.
and
I
the
do.
PS5.
Only on the Pro, yeah.
Only on the Pro. That's what I think. I think only on the Pro will be a 60 frames.
Man, maybe. I mean, listen. With the way that game looks, it has me interested in buying it. And I haven't played a GTA since Calvin was the main character. I think that's 4. And so, like, that's my experience with GTA. But this game actually looks like it has a story. It looks like it's doing something really cool. And
It's
so
a cool story.
I'm excited, and I don't even like the fucking titles. Like, that's That's how I know a game has done something. Shit, Death Stranding 2 got me to play and at least try Death Stranding 1 and I gave it a good try. Like, that's how you know a game is impacting the gaming industry or the gaming community, when you have people who normally wouldn't try that game or wouldn't play that game, but because of the sequels coming, they're like, oh my god, I need to go. Maybe I should. Should I? Maybe. Like, and we have this happen to us with gaming all the time. Like, we see a game. Let's use Souls games because we talked about them earlier. We see a Souls game come out and we're like, nope, never trying that shit. I don't like Souls games. I'm never touching that with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't touch that with Jez's controller. Not doing it. I don't want to. And then Liza P comes out and says, hey, we're putting a difficulty setting in. And you're like, you know what? You just made my list of games that I'll try out when they go on a deep sale. That sounds good. So, like, never say never when it comes to gaming, because developers will do stuff. They'll make a new game. They'll make a sequel better than the first one. They'll change up some of their settings, and all of a sudden, now you're in the game. With a game like GTA 6, what they've seemed to have added is, and what they've said they've added, is more focus on the story elements, which makes a person like me, makes my ears go, huh? You're gonna add more story elements? Yes, please tell me more. Tell me more about these story elements, because I like a good story. It's why I play most of my video games. And so, like, it even has people like me raising their eyebrows, and I absolutely think that game is going to do some gangbuster numbers. Anyways, speaking of gangbuster numbers, that's actually a good segue. Expedition 33, we're going to start with a good story, and then we're going to start with another negative. And I hate to do that. Y'all know me. I've been very positive and very uplifting the past several weeks, but the news is what the news is. So we're going to start with a really good one and then go to a bad one. Expedition 33 story keeps getting better with unusual sales. This is like the third article from Push Square. Somebody in the Discord earlier, I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it was JP, maybe. But, like, they shared 3 stories in the Discord, and all of them were from Push Square. And I was like, damn, Push Square is kind of on fire today, because they were all really good, and this is one of them. Unusual sales increase. Yes, you heard that. Sales increase. The success story of Claire Expedition 33, or Claire Obscure Expedition 33, shows no signs of slowing down, as new data confirms the RPG generated more revenue in its second month on the market than the first. According to GamesIndustry.biz, this is unusual for a premium title, and it's the other way around generally, and so this highlights the strength and high quality of the game according to word-of-mouth marketing. The context comes from Newzoo, from a Newzoo chart of the 20 games across the US, UK, Germany, France, Spain, and Italy, based on revenue for May 2025. In its debut month of April, Expedition 33 was 13th, but for May it charted higher at 8th. This part right here. First, we're going to stop. Let me make sure y'all can't see the next spot. We're going to stop right here because this is really cool. It's not something you see very often in gaming, where a game comes out. We talk about it all the time. Gaming, the window to make your money with a game is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. You get that first initial burst, and then you get some tricklers here and there, and then your games go by, kind of by the wayside until a big sale happens. Well, unlike the normal trend, which is kind of fitting for Expedition 33 if you followed the game, it kind of bucks the norm and says, hey, we're going to start out here on the chart, and then we're actually going to increase more, and not just increase in position, but also increase in revenue, which, if you're an Xbox fan here, revenue is the shit that actually matters. That's the thing that actually keeps the lights on and makes your games not ass. It's revenue. It's money coming in. That is what helps. And it says that this team, Expedition 33, Sandfall Interactive, made more the second month that it was out than the first. That's freaking impressive. So kudos to Sandfall Interactive. Now, with that being said, the funniest hell part is the fourth little paragraph here. It generated more revenue than Doom the Dark Ages did, despite being $20 cheaper. It would have needed to sell more copies to match Bethesda. It generated more revenue than Doom the Dark Ages did, despite being $20 cheaper. It would have needed to sell more copies to match the Bethesda FPS, and it still beat it for revenue despite being its second month of availability and Doom being the hot product for May. That's
Was it hot?
fucking
This
wild.
is yeah, exactly.
Was it?
I don't think
Was it
yeah,
hot?
like, beating it in its second month is good, but I think this just shows that legacy, like big IP on its own, doesn't sell games. And I've been trying to say
Not
that,
anymore.
like,
Shit, no.
just because you're a big IP does not mean you auto sell your game and auto have heaps of people getting on it. It's just too many people have been burned by too many things. If your game ain't hot, the hotness, people don't.
Later,
give a shit.
Steven.
Also, Doom had so many technical errors
Thanks
at
again,
launch.
brother.
Like it pissed off a lot of people, man. It was
Yeah.
like it was glitchy as hell. Like it's still glitches. I have some levels that it is still glitchy as hell. Like, and I don't think a lot of people cared too much about the whole parrying and everything like that. Like it definitely, again. I feel like yet again, another game that they purchased. Like they spent $7 billion for these franchises, and I feel like they just dump them out there and just say, yo, hey, they're not polished. There's no level expectation. And what it does is it makes people reserved in paying for these things. And they just say, I'll try it in Game Pass.
Yeah, and Hero Down Under said Expedition 33 is on physical pre-order yet again in Australia. I think that's third or fourth time
That's
it's
awesome.
sold out physically. Physical games are
And,
also
and,
selling.
Oh, it's
and
sold
that's
out
crazy.
again.
You know what
Oh,
else is
shit.
crazy? Is that Claire Expedition this shows you? It shows you how weak Game Pass is. Like it shows you that if a game is excellent and great, it's immune to the Game Pass disease. Of the Game Pass, the cannibalization. Maybe like it stays isolated to their platform probably, but everybody else does buy it. But when you look at it just shows that the games are the most important part of it, because Claire Expedition was in Game Pass, and I'm sure it was an incredible get, and I'm sure it probably took sales away from the platforms that they were. But it just shows that Game Pass and that whole accessibility doesn't permeate, because it's selling boatloads everywhere and it's selling crazily. So it shows you that whole Microsoft putting Game Pass and cloud gaming on phones, on this, on that, is not really impactful when people just want to buy the game and play it. And it's the opposite of when they put a game like Doom out there. Doom is not making headlines because it's everywhere. It's just like it was a game that was technically had limitations on it and some design choices, and it just, people were kind of fed up. I remember Doom Eternal was like the tipping point for Bethesda, because Doom Eternal didn't do what their numbers wanted to be. I remember that, and that's kind of like it was Prey and then Doom Eternal, and they kind of like, yeah, that's what put Bethesda in sort of like their issue that they're in. Was right after Doom Eternal. That's when Microsoft was going to buy him, I think.
Yeah, and like King Thrash said, to quote him quickly, King Thrash said it perfectly, I think, is Game Pass is going to fail because it needs to get games that are good enough that you want to play, but not good enough that you're dying to buy it. Because otherwise you would just buy it. Like, everyone's saying, all these fucking Xbox fanboys who are like, oh yeah, GTA 6 on Game Pass would have millions of people joining the service. It's like, no, it wouldn't.
No.
They don't know. They would just buy the fucking game. That's not going to... It'll be a big win for people already on Game Pass, yeah, and that's what they don't get. That's not growth. That's you getting better value, and that's not them making more money.
Yeah, and you really don't see... Microsoft really touting that Claire Expeditions and Game Pass and what numbers it did or anything like that.
Because their marketing's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you would think like a game like that. You would think like a game like that would say, oh, look how many people come into Game Pass because we have a desirable game. It just shows how much damage and marketing that it really is a nothing burger to them. Like this Game Pass, the permeation of where it is. That game was in there. That is a huge get for them. This most popular game that could be a game of the year was launched day one in Game Pass, and you're not shouting from the rooftops like this should be the culmination of your service of 10 years, right? Like this is it, a potential game of the year launching day one in Game Pass. You got it. Your Game Pass numbers should be going huge, right? Instead, all you keep hearing is people buying it.
Well, now that you mention it, I only saw them do like 1 or 2 posts about it. Dude, you are so freaking right. I didn't even think about that. Like, they should have been, if this was a Sony thing, and I know this for fact, if this was a Sony-backed marketing deal, they would have been lockstep with them, congratulating them every step of the way, doing everything with them, touting them, releasing awards trailers, releasing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I know they would, because, fun fact, whether you hate it, love it, think it's a 7, think it's a 3, think it's a 9, Forspoken had a damn good marketing campaign. They pushed the shit
Sony
out
does
of that game.
market a lot of games, yeah.
And so, Xbox didn't even try. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
That's right, yeah. Hero came up with an example for himself where it's like, Lost Records is a good example that he wanted to play it, but he just wasn't good enough for him to want to buy it full price, and that's fair. And that's what King Thrash said it, and it wasn't me who said it, but when he said it, I'm like, damn, that's actually so true. Game Pass wants to get games that are good, people are going to want to play it and be excited for it, but not good enough they're just going to auto buy it, because otherwise it's not going to pull them to the service. So that's what they're finding out is the issue.
And maybe that's the thing. The thing is that people don't want to game like that. They don't want to subscribe to play a game or games like Netflix. I think it's more just like what Sony said. It's more of supplemental ways of getting games that you may have missed, but the games that you want, games you're interested in, you're not going to subscribe to get it. And also too, if you're subscribed for already, you're going to get a game. Again, the ownership and things like that, does that retain you? I don't know. It just shows that nobody, it just shows that Game Pass is not, putting the day one stuff. It works for some games. It doesn't work for games that people want. I don't know.
Here's a real world recent example of people on Game Pass getting what they feel to be a shafted experience, and that is Lies of P released 2 years ago, I think, 2 years ago, and it released day one on Game Pass, and for me that was the first game where I was like, wow, this is a great get for Game Pass day one.
Sure,
this game's fucking amazing. Because before that, I was like, every game going on to Game Pass just feels like it's undercooked. That didn't feel undercooked. Yes, there was some issues with it, but it was also a small studio. Anyway, moving forward to a month ago, the DLC for Lies of P released. Overture, right? And everyone, I've seen posts on the Xbox Reddit, they're like, oh, why can't I get the DLC and play Lies of P? And people are like, well, because it's not on Game Pass anymore. So now these people who have played and finished it on Game Pass, who only play on Xbox and live Game Pass, if they want to play the DLC for Lies of P, this is their issue. They have to buy the base game and the DLC at once. So for them who only want to access the DLC, they feel like they're buying it twice or paying twice as much. Because in their head, they already, in quotations, paid for Lies of P on their Game Pass subscription. So that's an example of rotating out things and getting...
Well, just like how they make people pay extra for the Ultimate Edition, and you don't even own the base game, that you're paying that $30, that once you stop subscribing, that Ultimate Edition content means nothing. You know...
Exactly. Yeah. I got with that because
I don't know what the recipe is. It is definitely a weird conversation, because this would be something that you can't get better than Claire Obscura launching in Game Pass and being the success that it is, and in the conversation of the Game of the Year.
Hell no, you can't. It's sold fucking more than Indiana Jones.
It's great. But it just, I don't know. I don't know what the recipe is for Game Pass. It just seems like Xbox can't win. They just cannot win. You got a Game of the Year in day and date in Game Pass, and that is not, I don't know. That's not something that tips the scales for you. Then Call of Duty didn't. Starfield didn't.
Right.
A Game of the Year, Indie Passion did it. Didn't do it. Well, what the hell? Nothing's going to do it. They should have scrapped the whole thing and just said, hey, and that's the reason why you want 60 frames and that we go back to Hellblade, is because you're selling the game now. Before, you had those freeloaders that stacked for 3 years of Game Pass, and give those bitches 30 frames. feed them the scraps. We don't have to sell it to them. But now you're putting Hellblade on other platforms. Well, guess what, guys? Now we got to make sure that it has the rot mode that they had in the first one. Now we have to make sure that it has 60 frames, because now we're selling a product. It's not expected to a bunch of people that's stacked for 3 years for $60.
That's it. And like William, William just made a comment. So William Aguilera.
William Aguilera.
Sorry. Yeah, it's Will.
It's Will.
What up, Will?
He said, PlayStation fans standing firm against Game Pass and instead supporting quality is the best path that society could take. Imagine how much worse things would be if everyone demanded a day one games in subs.
And did you see what Sony? I don't know if Thrifty you had.
Yeah. So hang on. Let me do this. Let me do it real quick because this is actually one of the topics for tonight. Hang on now. So this is also from Push. I know. I was waiting on y'all to not wrap up, but get to a decent point where I could interject, because I've told y'all
Thrifty,
before.
Another reminder: go get that Stranding too. All right.
Okay, fair.
Get going.
You know what? I might. Let me. I might definitely. Here's the deal. I'm gonna go watch some gameplay of it at least. I'll listen to it tomorrow. Watch it tomorrow. And see what people are saying. I might try to find some reviews of people who
added so much dynamic shit, like crazy environmental stuff.
As long as I'm not bored to tears, I'll be fine. I can get through boring parts in a game. I've conquered that with the first 3 hours of The Witcher 3. And so I can push myself through the boring parts of the opening, but something better fucking hook me. Anyways, speaking of hooking, we are not looking to put first-party games in PS Plus day and date. Sony rejects Xbox Game Pass Game Pass model. We've stayed true to our strategy. The games are staying put. They are not going anywhere. They're not going to go on Game Pass day one. They're not going on PlayStation Plus day one. They are not going into Steam day one. The tentpole titles, the massive AAA in-house titles, are staying exactly where they have always been, and that is in our hands first. It's going to allow. So I saw somebody post this today. They showed clips from Death Stranding 2, and they said, "Screw UE5. Can we please talk about Decima?" And I'm looking, and somebody else in the comments said, "Is this like a photo mode?" He was like, "No, this is just me pressing the screenshot button from my PS5."
Yeah, it's that incredible. I can't believe I was watching somebody play the first Death Stranding, and I can't believe what this game looks like. I've been posting pictures all over X today.
It's wild. And a bunch now. If that game went into fucking PlayStation Plus day one, do you know what would fucking happen to it? It would die. Kojima would not make nearly the amount of money that would be needed to justify the amount that was spent on that title. Hell, we had Guerrilla Games pissed off that they put Horizon Zero Dawn in there, because they were like, yeah, it cannibalized quite a bit of sales. We saw our sales numbers that were going well, and then all of a sudden they just freaking tanked, and it's because they were in the subservice. And ever since then, PlayStation hasn't been so fucking quick to put their games into PlayStation Plus Premium, because it literally cannibalized their own sales. It's like they used Zero Dawn as this litmus test that was let's just see what the fuck happens.
Well, I think they did it in order to sell the DLC. That's what I think they did, because they did it when the DLC was coming out, and that DLC was only PS5, only
that's true.
PS5. So, and that's why they put it.
Horizon
in the
was a
service,
test, yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, they put it in there, so it's hey, you're gonna get, if you didn't buy Horizon, here's the game. You could go buy the DLC for the game, kind of scamming what Microsoft does, where they say, hey, buy DLC or buy Ultimate perk for a game that you don't own.
Now wait a second, Jez. This is a pony channel. You cannot be saying that Sony is scamming anybody.
Well, they did.
I will not stand for that. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
They put Horizon in. They will put Horizon in there to get you to buy the DLC that you don't own. They probably wanted a better uptick in their DLC. That was PS5 only, so they threw it in the service. Dude, they're all scamming. They're all goddamn companies. It's just Microsoft
Yeah.
is the ultimate scammer and a liar.
I know. I was
And
totally
puts out
joking.
bad. Again, like the thing is like you would be less terrible at Microsoft if they put out some goddamn quality games and not lie to a face and just be like, oh, 30 frames for artwork and shit like that, and say, yeah, the games are coming and they never show up, or no games at launch, and then they're talking about strap-ons for phones and all the goddamn cloud gaming and stuff. Pause on all that shit. But yeah, like, dude, they blown so much smoke over everybody's ass that they lost all credibility and everything. But like, the thing is, that Sony makes mess ups too. Like they're scammed sometimes.
I was being facetious mostly. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, I was really just being facetious. Yes, Sony screws up a lot.
The thing, dude, but that was the whole reason why. It was probably to get people to buy the DLC.
I will say this, and it's ridiculous that Sony has to keep coming back to this and has to keep reassuring people, like, no, seriously, we're not doing it. So, there was something that I have not substantiated in the Discord. I think somebody shared it there. By the way, guys, join the Discord. We have a ton of fun conversations in there. And we're trying to make it more just gaming focused. So come on in. Let's talk about some games. Let's talk about some stuff. We can chop it up just like we're doing here. Except you're more involved in the conversation. Also, if you share an article in the Discord, there's a good chance it's going to show up during one of the live shows. Just saying. Anyways, so one of the things about PS Plus, day and date, and all this other stuff. Like I said, I hate that they have to keep going back to it and keep reiterating, like, hey, we're not doing this. This is not something that we really are thinking about doing. It's not even on the cards. And like I said, somebody shared in the Discord that supposedly PS Plus has risen like 4 million subscribers this year. And the reason why they've kept it really kind of quiet is because they don't want developers to think that they're not the place to like put their games to sell or what have you. Once again, I don't know if that's true. I did not do any vetting on that, but it would make sense if they're like, hey, listen, we see what developers are doing when it comes to Xbox Game Pass, and we don't need developers thinking in the slightest that we are here just as a subscription machine. That's not our main goal. That's not our main focus. So once again, they have to come out and go, listen, we're not looking to put first-party titles, day and date, Game Pass, or PS Plus. Not going to happen. And it's weird that they have to keep... It's fucking Liquid Metal bullshit is come back now. Like, people talking about standing it up vertically with Death Stranding 2 now is melting original PS5. Like, come on. It's the same shit over and over and over again. Like, and it's completely asinine. Like, at least, and I've said it before on the channel, at least if you're going to come at Sony with some bullshit, come with some bullshit they actually did. Like canceling the Stars program that people were actually enjoying, that certain people were actually using. Like ending up making a Horizon Lego game because you're trying to milk an IP for all that it's worth, and it didn't, and it blew up in your face. Making Concord, buying a studio, shutting it down, losing Jade Raymond. Like, you can pick a ton of shit to talk about, but instead you choose Liquid Metal and games going day and date. Like, it's fucking wild. It's just wild. It's like I have no other word to describe it. So, Wara, I've talked a lot just in that little section. What Liquid Metal Torque? That's right. So, what do you think about this? I mean, this is a big nothing burger, isn't it?
No, yeah, this is great that they're doing that, because same with Nintendo, they don't put games on a service. Like, we don't need this in this industry. No other industry has benefited from this at all. This is exactly what we should want to keep things sustainable in this industry, because as much as consumers, like even myself and Thrifty and Jez, we want to be able to get things for cheaper. You know, I always try and get things cheaper. But the thing is, I know that if I got everything for $1 every month, that there's no funding to make good games long term. So while I don't want to sit here and like hype up games prices and like prices going up and stuff like that, I don't think that the way forward is to copy Xbox and Game Pass. So I think this is a good move. We all saw a lot of us saw the leaked documents from when Insomniac was hacked, and how the sales drop off from Horizon Forbidden West, like Jez, I think, was the one who mentioned it just before. When the DLC came out, they put it on PS Plus, and they said then they're not going to do it again. They tried it, didn't work, and they're not doing it again. And no one should be, what's the word? Like, don't feel pressured to keep up with other people's spending. If if you want to get if everyone else is getting every game day one and you can't afford it, don't feel bad, whatever. But yeah, it's not cheap to try and get every game, and the thought of Game Pass and having every game day one that Xbox release is cool. But when you see how they're releasing and how they're getting patches when they come to PS5, you're sort of realizing that it's not quite a full polished experience in reality. Like with Game Pass, it's got that Game Pass stench, like some people mention. And
they all look the fucking same.
I'd rather games just be good. And like, I'll pay for a good game. And you know what? I don't mind skipping games. I'll skip the fuck out of games. If I'm not interested, I won't buy it. I do not have enough spare time to play every new release, and I'm super picky as well. Everyone knows, or everyone who knows me knows that I'm picky, and I don't just play anything. And yeah, I prefer just to pick what I want to play and not be dictated to on what I'm going to play with services. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Sony even reiterated during their financial sit down and stuff like that, how they were saying how the services is supplemental and it worked for them, and they don't see, they don't need to be putting their games in there day one, but however, they are going to be finding some indie games or some other games that may be something for 5 per year that they'll put in day one there, and they've done that too. And it's sort of like, it makes sense because, like I said before, Game Pass, that model seems to work for certain games, like maybe games that people unsure of and the developers unsure how it's going to sell, a game that needs a large install base up front to be entertaining and find matches, a game that really would, like, the developer wants to get the exposure out there. They're small and they know that they may not sell tons, but they're willing to take the risk of, like, hey, give me the money up front, put it in the service, let me get that exposure so I could fund my next game. The model definitely has some benefits to certain types of games and to certain developers, more like the indies and things like that, or these multiplayer games. So Sony targets such games like that, and that those games that would fit the model, not games to be built for the model, but games that would possibly fit the model, put those in the service, which makes total sense. That was the problem Microsoft had. They assumed everything they will make and everything they will make or will produce and everything they had has to be in the service day one. And what happened was the scoping. Everything happened because now the games were being built for the distribution model. It's like, whoa, yeah, don't put 60 in there. It's just going in the service. Don't worry about the sales. Like, just get it out there. We'll fix it later.
But once it comes to PlayStation, we need 60 because that's what we expect.
Now we're slapping a $70, $60 price on it, and we got to sell it to
welcome,
people.
Xbox.
Exactly.
You're
so now
fucking welcome.
Is that, and the thing was, like, Halo, do you think without Game Pass, would Halo Infinite be what it was? It was a free-to-play multiplayer separate from the campaign. The campaign was the thing that was in Game Pass, never got the support that it needed. I think it was the first Halo ever that never got DLC anything. No campaign DLC, no expansions. These Halo games had all DLCs, whether they were maps, whether they were expansions, whether they were new modes and things like that. And this Halo got nothing. This Halo got we'll fix the battle pass. And it could be a victim of the subscription, but Microsoft was building games for the service. And what the reason they broke out of it was when they started buying full-ass publishers. They were just they spent all the money up front and took games that everybody was buying and threw them in the service. Like, this is the thing that happens now. You're taking these franchises like Call of Duty, like Doom, like Janky Jones. The thing is that what does that do to the next Call of Duty, the next Janky Jones, if there is ever one, the next Doom? You're basically telling people that these franchises are subscription franchises. These are day one subscription games. And now the people who wanted to throw the money at Doom, I'll be like, oh, the Doom games, oh, those are in that service, right? That's where I get those Doom. Call of Duty, oh, that's a subscription game, right? Like, it's gonna hurt the next things, and that's
I never even thought about it that way.
Maybe
Dude,
not
you're
Call
so
of Duty,
freaking right. Like,
not maybe Call of Duty so much because I think there's been such an inherent thing, but I think eventually it's gonna happen. Like Call of Duty is gonna be one of those games, especially this year, maybe the first year that it happens, when it's like, yo, we're getting Black Ops 7. Like, you know, Call of Duty was subscription last year, and now it's again. But you're taking these franchises like Starfield 2, like the thing. If there ever are those, I don't think they're gonna be them. But like, it's really taking these third-party franchises and making people think like they're subscriptions. Like, I don't have to get them, and you know.
Yeah, and Nelson's made a good comment. By only doing a few day and date smaller games a year, people don't hold up or skip games expecting it to be in a service. Exactly right. They have been trained over there to not buy games, and I don't blame the consumer. I don't blame that's their mentality. It's like Xbox has trained them to not want to buy games because
they're giving away for $1.
Yeah.
Gears 4 was coming out. You could buy a box of Pop-Tarts and play it for the weekend.
Yeah, and Hero said Xbox bet the house and lost. Never bet the house. It's like a learner's rule. Unless you're renting, Hero, then you definitely bet the house.
You bet the house because it's not yours.
They took so many risks. Like, come on, you got to think. Like, just look at what is it? The South of Midnight. 7 years. Forza Motorsport. 7 years to make that game. All that cost, and you put it in a service with 30 million people, and that service don't grow. And half those people are stacked. They're not paying every month.
Yeah.
I feel like games like South of Midnight are probably worse off in some ways for being on Game Pass, for the sake of the fact that it's meant to be like for a specific type of person who wants to like learn more about, you know, not South America, but Southern America. I don't know, the South.
Well, you're right. It's right. A lot of noise.
Because it's on the service, people are going to go, oh, I'm going to play this because I'm getting my value, right? And then they'll go, oh, this is trash. I hate this. I don't give a shit about this character. This
delete.
is, you know, delete. And then it makes it look like no one's playing and finishing it, but really they shouldn't have played it to begin with. You know, just theoretically. And it's not really good for the game's health in that regard, because then that person tells everyone else, oh, no, it's trash. And then there's just a massive hate.
And everybody's so quick to say that nowadays, too. And especially since you don't buy the game, your ownership to it, like I always said, your tolerability of a game that you show up in a subscription, you know, one thing happens, you delete it. You're like, oh, I don't care. But if you paid $60, $70 for that, you're going to be more tolerable. You're like, you know what? Let me see some more of this game through before I dismiss it. But if you just get a subscription, you're like, yo, I have 250 other games. I'm not trying this one. And it's sort of like, you know, the buffet effect. Like, you know what I mean? If there's 30 items, you're like, you know what? I really don't like those. I'm going to move on. Like, yeah, but if you spent $30 for one item, you're most likely to go, oh, you know what? Let me see this through a little bit more. Not to say that you're going to finish it, but you'd be more tolerable of the game if you invested in it. And that's another problem that they have for longevity and stuff. And the thing is that the subscription model has its benefits, and I think Sony's been using it as a great supplemental way to give games that maybe haven't sold, maybe games as they kind of need to be there day one. Like, and they did some really good games in the service. Like, they had some really good like I thought they did some really good job. What was that, the Rollerdrome they had day one in the service? That's that puzzles, that skateboarding game, that rollerblade game. Rollerdrome. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, the recent one, Blueprints on PS
Blueprint is on there.
That was amazing.
And the thing was, I said was like the thing is that Microsoft was like, when Sony started doing day one games, it put more pressure on Microsoft first party stuff, because now Sony, just like, you know, like they're able to get some of the games that Microsoft would get day one in their service. And And I think Microsoft got a lot of kind of day one games because I think that the developer knew that, and most likely we're not going to be selling on that system, so they'll take the money up front, say, hey, we'll take, because that's how it happens. Like the developer goes up, I'm sure, and they say, hey, okay, Microsoft's like, okay, your game, and let me see, okay, yeah, we estimated it would probably sell maybe $500,000 on our consoles and stuff like that, so we'll pay you, $1 million, $2 million, and we'll put it in our service. So they take the $2 million, it goes in the service, and then if it blows up, they took a loss because they're like, oh, we could have made that in sales, but they took a gamble and they took the money up front. And it's like Microsoft's like, here's $2 million. All right, if it sells more, that's all money. If it sells less, you made out. Like house wins, you win. It's like gambling. Like they take a risk in it. So it's really the problem that Microsoft had with this whole system is that they never gave a proper curation and kind of cadence to it. Like, hey, here's one. Remember, Phil's like one game a quarter. He failed that the next quarter. It was done. It was like, yeah, sorry, we didn't meet this quarter. But there was no cadence like, oh, we're going to get an Xbox game. And you even look now, these Game Pass announcements of what's going in there are so friggin' random. Sony here's our essential games that are coming out to everybody, which are better than games with gold, which, by the way, Xbox Core is ass. They gave you 12 games, and they don't add any more games to that thing. Like they're equivalent of Xbox Live. They got rid of games with gold, and they don't give monthly games anymore for their base subscription. They only give you like a curation of 10 to 12 games, and that's all you get. Sony, here's your essentials. Here's your other ones, like the ones that are coming to their service, premium and core, and it's like a proper tiered announcement. Microsoft just has a random. It's like games that came to Game Pass, but now they're available for cloud get re-announced on their list.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, now the game. It's like, wait, that game came out in Game Pass. That's there already. It's like, well, now it's available for cloud. It's like, but why is it on the list of 5 games? Well, now it's cloud enabled, and it's like they re-announce games. And
hey,
it's just random ass shit. Yeah, sorry, I'm going off.
No, that's okay. No, just someone. Old Man Gaming Guru said PS Plus Essential monthly offerings are permanent, as well as you never have to worry about losing them as long as you're active. That is 100% true. So it's only the extra and premiums that cycle in and out. However, I think that the system should do a better job. Like as feedback as someone who's used both, I've been PS Plus Essential for coming up 10 years, basically. I think they should do a better job now that they have extra and premium, showing the games that are cycling and ones that don't cycle, because I don't know of a way to actually check which one is cycling, which one's not, easily. Now, I know that I'll be able to actually research and find out, but it's annoying that all of them have the same cross. I wish that there was a way to have, like, instead of just a yellow cross, the symbol, one of them be extra and cycling, the other one's not. Yeah, the PS Plus tab, but they all have them there, right? They're all there. But I'm saying about the ones that are coming in and that are not coming out. No, Josh, I mean, if I'm looking in my library on my PS5, the ones that are on PS Plus, if I'm on my library on PS5, the games I actually own, not in the store, if I'm going through what I own and what's not, and I want to go find a game. Okay, I want to play a game, right? I want to play a game. And I want to prioritize the ones that might cycle in and out. How do I easily do that on the PlayStation? If someone can tell me that there is a way, then okay. But I haven't really noticed.
Wait, what games are leaving the service?
Yeah, what games could be leaving and which ones are part of my permanent list?
That's
what I mean, Josh. Yeah,
no.
It's not a big issue. It's just like a little gripe that I find that since they've introduced premium and extra, there are games that cycle through, because like Faunatron Thrifty has mentioned it before. He's like, I've gone back in to play a game and it's not there anymore. And he's like, he feels because he's more casual with the PlayStation, he feels
they
like
do have a section that says games leaving. I know they do have that.
Yeah. But like, if there's a way to see which ones will never cycle for you, because everyone's will be different lists.
I'll say this. The other thing that I don't like, the other thing I don't really like about PlayStation,
it's a little gripe. It's a very small gripe, because again,
they probably want you to buy it too. It's like, oh yeah, I played that game.
That's the thing. I don't think they want you to buy it, and here's why I say that. when I go, if I have a game on PlayStation, right, and it's on PlayStation Plus or whatnot, and I go to purchase that game, let's say it's on sale. You're going through the sales list on your PlayStation and going, holy crap, it's right here. And you click on it, all it will say to you is available in PS Plus. And you're like, but I want the price. And then you have to click another thing that like shows, it goes to show product, and then you'll see the sale price, and then under that it'll say available on PS Plus. But like, they make you work to figure out where the hell, like, how can you buy this? Because I've actually dealt with that a few times on trying to buy a game.
An example. Yeah. He had a game that was cycling out, Infamous, but he wasn't sure if he was going to lose it because he knew he had activated it with Essential years ago.
Right.
So, yeah, that's an example of one that other people will have lost, but not him and anyone else who had claimed it on Essential at that time. So, yeah, like it's... Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying, Thrifty. GTA 5, my daughter wanted it for the PS4, and finding which version, it was like so convoluted. I was like, fuck, which version do I buy? It's going to cost the least. You know what I mean?
Which one do I get?
Yeah, because it said I had access to it, but only on PS5, right?
Right.
I was trying to find a way that I could... Yeah, anyway, it was a fucking drama.
It's just, it usually is.
That's whatever. Not the end of the world. I normally buy physical, and it just reminded me why I just should have just bought it physical.
Just should have bought it physical. See, you just
but
buy
I did buy
physical.
Physical on the 360. I'd already bought it. I'm like, I'm not buying that game again.
You know, digital games are terrible, and if you buy digital games, you're an awful person. That's the way this works. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. 100%. So, all right, we got one more topic to cover, and my goodness, I don't even know if I should because it's late, but it wouldn't be a week in gaming if we didn't talk about a third-party publisher getting ready to lay off several of their employees. So, we're going to talk about it. Reports say that Microsoft...
Sorry, pause for 1 second. I just want to answer William. Yeah, William, like when you activate, he said the 3 monthly games you basically have permanently as long as you have PS Plus while the games leave. That's made very clear. And it's easy when I'm doing it, but I'm saying I've got 10 years worth of games that I've activated with PS Plus that's Essential. And now that they've got PS Plus Premium and Extra, I don't have a way to filter when I'm looking in my library what is from what service. Anyway, sorry, go.
Yes, no. Because you want to make sure, like, hey, is this one of my PS Plus Essential titles that's never going anywhere? Or is this one of my premium titles that might leave next month? It might not. Who knows? It depends on how they feel.
Which one do I have more FOMO for?
Right.
So, anyway, it's a tiny gripe. I'm not trying to blow it up. It's not that much of an issue. It's just a little thing.
Pause. Little things. So, okay. Microsoft is looking to do another major round of layoffs next week. This is according to Bloomberg. I do not support Bloomberg, so I got the article from gamesindustry.biz. Mainly because I don't like the guy over at Bloomberg.
The one who withheld information that was important to people.
That one. Okay, so this comes from Bloomberg, which says managers within Xbox are anticipating substantial cuts. Microsoft did not comment, of course. The move will be part of a company-wide reorganization, according to the report. They reorganize more than Square Enix does. This would follow a recent round of Microsoft layoffs in May 2025, literally 1 month ago, where 3% of the company's headcount was targeted. A smaller round of layoffs came before that in January of 2025. Back in January 2024, the gaming division specifically axed 1,900 roles, the Bloody Valentine's Day Massacre, in September of 2024, then cut another 650 staff from games. In May of 2024, it was revealed that 4 studios under subsidiary Bethesda were closed, with some staff realigned, quote-unquote, to other teams. One of those studios, Tango Gameworks, was acquired by Krafton and ultimately spared closure. During its recent Q3 2025 results, Microsoft shared that its gaming segment increased 5%. Hang on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layoffs in a 12-month period, and they've increased revenue by 5% year on year. GamesIndustry.com has also reached out to Xbox for a comment on the claims in the report, and we will update you with any clarification that is shared by the company. Guys, it's not looking good. Like, you got to imagine working for Xbox has to be the most nerve-wracking development job you could have. Period, point blank, no question mark. Like, that's not okay. Like, they keep firing people, and they post a profit, or they post increased revenue, not profit. But like,
No, yeah, profit. No. Oh, sorry. Do you mean Xbox or Microsoft?
no, Xbox, the Xbox division.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
It up 5% gaming revenue year on year. So, Jez, when does the bleeding stop? Like, we know they're in a restructure. We know they're switching from console manufacturing, console driven, back into how they started, which is more software driven, going third party. That's why I don't count them as a console manufacturer anymore. It's not just to troll them, it's a literal frame of mind that I have towards them. They are nothing more than a third party publisher. But how much longer are we, or how many more of these are we going to see where they just axe big chunks of people at a time? Like, it seems to be a every month or every quarter thing right now.
Yeah, it's when box is not in the name anymore, I guess. It was just not happening. You know, it's horrible. This is, you know, we said that they were acquiring too much too fast. The ink, they never dried for the Bethesda deal. And they were going to spend an $80 billion. Like, I don't know who thought that this was a good idea, and now they put themselves in a hole so bad that they need to restructure. They need to be thin because they brought on so much staff, and I think they also made a lot of bets, and these bets have not paid off. The AI bets, and I think they're just trying to streamline a lot of this stuff. And you know, I said it on my show. I was like, how many people do you need to put a button on a piece of hardware, a sticker on a MetaQuest? You know, how many people you need to work with the Windows team? Like, don't you think that? I think that Xbox team is a transition team. I think they're just putting in the transition. They're going to make the app, fix it for Windows, and the Windows team will be, thank you very much, Sarah Bond and crew. We don't need you anymore. And that whole Xbox just gets disbanded. There's no need for them anymore because there's no hardware being built. There's no custom hardware. It's all just PC and Windows. So really, they may just take a couple of people here and there, but there's really, this is the thing that boggles me. There really is. What is an Xbox division anyway? We ask what an Xbox is. What is the Xbox division? Listen, what is the purpose of Gaming Gandalf? Mr. I think, like, what is his job there?
To look forward to the future, man.
He's head of next
he's
generation.
the vice president of next gen. I think he sits there with a guy. I think that dude sits in the lunchroom with a friggin' tent around them and a little glowing ball, and you sit there and he's a fortune teller, and he just sits there and he's like, "Oh, the future's coming." Like, what does he do there? The future of what, dude? Asus, everybody else is making the hardware. What are you the future of? There is no future to Xbox. What are you making?
Now that we see all this Xbox hardware where it's literally just someund else's hardware.
It's other people's hardware. What is he doing?
Yeah. That actually makes sense. From a year and a half ago, we heard Ford. Sarah Bond was talking about Ford.
Forward compatibility.
Yeah, forward compatibility, something like that, yeah. So it's like, it's this transition period, and that's why everyone with a fucking brain is saying that Xbox OS is gone. It's all going to be Windows.
There's no Xbox OS.
Yeah.
So why would they need an Xbox OS?
Compatibility. Yeah. And
they're
then,
getting
and then
skipped right now.
At that
like,
point,
who's...
Jez,
Yeah.
At that point, Jez, what does Xbox Play Anywhere actually fucking mean? It just means PC version, and you can stream it.
It's a transition.
You know what I mean? Like, it's another thing. Like,
transition plan.
Who remembers? Here's a blast from the past. Smart delivery.
Yeah.
Who remembers that? Who remembers that shit?
Damn, I haven't heard that term in a while.
Literally get you used to being online. Get you used to having to download your fucking game. It won't just play the game off the disc. It will have to download the new version. And
Smart delivery.
They tried to hype that shit up. Xbox fanboys did.
No, it still exists right now. It's smart not to load performance modes on the S.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh shit, it's the S. Yeah, we don't need to load performance modes because
So
Smart
guys,
delivery.
Bale Dante has an
yeah.
answer to y'all's question about what is Xbox hardware division.
Oh
He
shit! Tell us,
said
Bell.
it is a cat with its tongue out licking all the Xbox stickers being stuck on
Blocks.
third-party products.
Oh shit! It's a friggin' mail order.
It's a mail order.
yeah,
That's what
Xbox
it
stamp.
is. It's like a tramp
Said.
stamp, but worse.
Yo, Phil stops. He said, I'm not doing FanFest. I signed too many asses. Sign electronic products now.
Golly, man.
But
It's
no,
just,
but like
it
the thing is,
sucks.
like, what do they need in the Xbox group? Like, what do they need? Like,
Well, they
I'm
still need
worried,
fucking developers, right? Like, they
but
still
see,
need
that's
people to
thrifty.
make
That's
games.
what I'm worried about. I'm worried next week we're gonna find out. Like I said, I would hate this, but
AI is taking
Compulsion
over.
Games, dude, Compulsion Games. They just think about it. If you just released a game and you're about to start another one, I think they're gunning for those groups, because remember, they have so many studios now, and also if they're in the business now of selling their games on other devices, are they really needing the little games to fill in Game Pass when they got Call of Duties, the Dooms, the Janky Jones, the Perfect Darks, the Fables? Like, we're looking at big games to sell to give us our money back. Are they really looking for a 7-year-old game that's $30 that lasts 4 hours and pay those developers? That's why I think they got rid of Hi-Fi Rush. They're like, we don't need little goo goo gagas anymore. We're not trying to fill Game Pass with this stuff. We're trying to sell games to other platforms, and we can't, these little games that we were filling up Game Pass with to in between our big ones, do they really need them? Like, I would say a studio that just dropped a game, I think they're in trouble. Like, even Ninja Theory, like I think Ninja Theory is safe because they are more of the tech. They could bring more tech to them, but Compulsion, who knows? And they absorb so many friggin' studios, dude. They got so many. Machine Games is another one. Who knows? They dropped the DLC. Listen, they don't care. They closed down Hi-Fi Rush in the middle of promising that game going to Nintendo Switch, and they shut down the studio and got rid of them. So I'm hoping that they do not close down studios, but it makes sense. Like, if they acquired so much stuff, they may just start canceling some things and just going, yeah, we're not moving ahead with that, because a lot of these acquisitions, a lot of these games and stuff are already in development. They already had some things, and Microsoft's like, oh, that's great. That's output for Game Pass. You continue to finish that. But when they're finished, is Microsoft lighting the green light, giving them the green light to go ahead and make a sequel, to do another game? Are they going to? Who knows? Is Machine Games after Indiana Jones? Is Indiana Jones 2 coming? Or we never got to see a lot with Microsoft fully invested since day one. Hellblade 2, I guess, was like one of the first games, and Compulsion Games was another one. State of K3 will be another one. So we got a few of them, but a lot of these two games were being built already, and we really haven't seen Microsoft making them better, Yeah,
No.
I just I this sucks that they're doing this stuff, and the fact that they're saying that Xbox managers, like the managers, I think you're gonna see I think the writing's on the wall next week that you're gonna start seeing this Xbox division get gutted, because the transition plan is in full effect. Like, Phil executed Order 66, it's in. Last year, just 4 games was the Emperor. Order 66. That's what it was.
I surely thought that it was going to last a little bit longer. Like,
Yeah.
I really thought that they were going to announce that the console was dead at the end of this year. But I really thought they would have given it the good old college try for the first 6 months and then been like, all right, it didn't work. Cool. Here's the rest of the slate. But, like, with everything that they're doing, it screams we're out. It screams we're done. They've done everything except say we are done making consoles. That's why I view them as just a publisher now. And so because of that, though, you're right. They don't need all of this extra. This is the one time where you could look at it and go, it's redundancies. Why is it redundancy? Yeah. Because we're lowering the amount of people we need on these teams, because we don't literally need them here anymore. We have moved on. We're doing different things. We're doing different stuff. And so, like, I don't know. It does suck.
They need the developers. They need the developers, but again, what kind of games are they going to make in the new future when they are trying to sell games? They're back into the business of selling games.
Because that's still the thing, right? That's still, but right now.
That's why they're doing what they're doing. Phil said it. He said so many times, like, in order for us to do what we do and give you the showcase that we can, we gotta put our games on other places and PlayStation where the gamers play. He's obviously saying they're not playing with us. They're on PC. They're on PlayStation. They're on Switch. We got to go where the gamers are with our games because our shit's dried up.
God.
In order to do it, in order to fund Xbox. That's what he said.
He said we're doing this to bring you shows like the one you just saw.
Yes, I know. Yeah. What? Like, you really? Wait a minute. If you don't put games on PlayStation, we don't get any shows about your games?
Right.
That means you're not making games anymore.
It's just
like it's not like the show costs money. The show don't cost money. You record it in the garage. It's not like you're having a live showcase that you have to fund the Microsoft Studio Stadium and shit. So obviously he means that if we don't put our games where the gamers are and sell them, then we are not going to be making games. Because he says we do this to put shows on that we just had. I was like, oh shit, well, I guess you want to have a game show then. Yeah. That's fucking dude. Like, how can people glaze over that and not realize this guy is like, it's like a call for help. Like Phil Ness is like, save us.
Save us, please. And it was so evident when he did that one interview with I can't think of the guy, Ryan McCaffrey.
Save
and
me.
He was like, it's an option, like, but you don't have to. You can buy the game. And if you buy the game, it helps out the studio. It helps us out. But it's an option. Like, dude,
it's
stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it.
I want you to buy a game.
Like, but no, it's just...
He's like, buy the game. Shh.
Please.
Please.
Save us.
Why won't they buy the game?
Hey guys, I posted something in the Discord. Y'all can go check it out. But I was an OG originator with the Expedition 33 physical copy. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one because, that's what you do when you buy physical. Hey, I'm telling you, I have it. And I got lucky as shit too. It's like GameStop came in super clutch. But no, I actually had another one.
At GameStop of all places too. They probably it wasn't the one that the guy had out of the case.
Man, I'm telling you, no.
I got in the drawer.
No, yes. So yes, I bought it twice. Hero in the Discord asked if I bought it or said I bought it twice. Yes, I bought it once from Amazon. And then when I found out Amazon was going to take until after the game was released to get me the game, it was only one day, but it's still after the game released to get me the game, I decided to go to GameStop and see if they had it. And sure enough, they had 2 copies left. The guy in front of me got one and I got the other. And so it worked out very serendipitous where I was able to come home and play Expedition 33. I bought the game surprisingly at 3:33 in the afternoon. It was weird. It was GameStop store number 333. The customer was the 33rd employee that they had hired. No, I'm just kidding. None of that is true, except that I bought the game at GameStop.
You paid $33?
Did I pay $33? Listen, man, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not freaking surprise me. The way that this game has come out. Wait.
They didn't try to sell you a bundle with
no,
Expedition socks?
God, no. Not Expedition socks. Hey! Bill Dante just joined in the Discord. Thanks, brother. Welcome back. But it's been a ride for sure. But anyways, I was just wanting to point that out and answer Hero's question from the Discord, because yes, I did buy it twice, but I got refunded on the first one because Amazon shipped it to me, and you could hear the disc floating around inside the case, and I was like, I am not playing this. I'm not opening this. I'm not doing a dang thing, because once I open it, that disc is going to be scratched all to hell, and it's mine. And so I was like,
and the disc is going to start degrading, right? Aren't we meant to be scared of discs like deteriorating now? You like scare people off of physical, make them buy digital now.
I am as scared of a disc degrading as builders are to build houses in Florida.
Yeah.
because of global warming. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. But no, guys, okay, so we have covered a lot of shit tonight. We've had a lot of fun tonight. We have talked about video games. We have talked about some of the gaming news that's gone on. We talked about action titles, some of the things we like from them, some of the things we don't like from them. And it has been a awesome night. The guys who have given tonight have shown out in a very, very big way, especially Stephen Leon. Thank you so much for that. Also, every single person here whose name is green, you are phenomenal. That means you are a member of the channel, whether you've been gifted because you're here all the time, you're a subscriber, I appreciate it. Also, if you have a green name and you're one of the ones that give every month, thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate it. With that, though, Jez, where can folks find you?
You can find me over at the Gaming Grindhouse on the YouTubes and on Jez7780 X on X. And I have a game show on Monday nights, podcast, and then I've been going live during the week, and I do my gaming grinds where I kind of podcast while I'm playing games. I forgot to tell you, so there's a I'm going to one of the conventions over here in the Northeast, and they just announced that one of the I forgot who it was. They was gonna have a voice actor there for one of the Demon Slayer characters, and now they have he is unable to make it, so they have now the voice and person that played Jin in Ghost of Yotai. Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm gonna go meet him. I'm gonna have him sign my PlayStation figurine.
Oh, dude, that's right.
Jin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got the collector. Oh no.
I have the God of War one. I didn't get the Ghost of Tsushima one of Jin, but the actor that played him, because they mocapped him, he is him. And I gotta get his name. What the hell's his name? And I forgot his name. But he's gonna be there, and I'm like, oh man. So I just ordered my Ghost of Tsushima figure art, like the character one, the PlayStation ones. So I'm gonna have him sign that. I'm gonna go meet him.
That's really cool, man. Hey, man, enjoy the hell out of that, dude.
Yeah, it was such a crazy thing. It's over in Pennsylvania. It's like too many games. I'm gonna be going there, that convention over there.
Dude, that's gonna be awesome.
They keep building it up, man. They got the voice. They got the guy that did Mario. They have Princess Peach there. They have Ray Chase is gonna be there. That's who we're gonna meet too. My son wants him to fill out to sign one of the Demon Slayer guys. Ray Chase is there. He does tons of voices. Oh no, who else is gonna be there? Marcus Phoenix. The guy who does Marcus Phoenix voice. Is gonna be there too.
I love how we just call him the games.
I
call him the game characters. Marcus Phoenix.
What's his name? I forgot his name. Joe DeStefano, or I forget his name. But there are a lot of a lot of cool people they have there. So expect some photos. Follow me on X, and maybe I'll do a recap on my channel for the convention I'm going to this weekend. But that's good. Yep, but yeah, that's cool. But that was a last minute change, and I'm like, holy crap! Ghost of Yotai coming out, like, it's so cool. Like, I wanted to get, and I printed the mask, the Ghost of Tsushima mask. I was like, I might bring it, I couldn't believe he was gonna be there. Like, that's crazy. I'm like, whoa, that's the guy that played Jin, and actually, it's him. It's like not just the voice actors. Like, they took his likeness and his mocap. Like, that's him.
That's so cool, man. So you're going to have such a freaking good time, man. That's awesome, dude.
I know.
That's
somebody has Stephen Leon has the collector's mask.
He said I would go with you. Yeah.
Dude. Well, if you're in the Pennsylvania.
If you're in
Pennsylvania.
Hey, Steven, if you just want to fly halfway across the fucking country.
Fly to Pennsylvania.
Come on over.
Jin is here.
That's awesome. He's here. WaraWana, where can folks find you, man?
You can find me in the Discord, Thrifty's Discord, and I'm in Jez's Discord as well.
Yeah.
So everyone else follow that as well as Thrifty's. And other than that, I'll just be gaming. If anyone wants to run some Night Rain, let me know. I ran some with Baldante and Henry Heck, as I mentioned at the start. Today, before the podcast, and I'll be running it again this afternoon and tomorrow. So PC or PS5, either one, if anyone is interested.
Now that Night Rain game, that's that new side-scroller Metroidvania title, is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Oh man, Nelson said he has to sign my ass. Oh man, well if he signs my ass, I'm posting that picture. You can get my ass on my channel. I say, look, I got my ass signed.
All we see is
I'm like,
Jez's
wait, I
white
heard-
ass on the screen.
Sign my ass. That'll be my
Signature.
thumbnail. He signed my ass.
That reminds me of Happy Gilmore when he's going around signing chests, and the old lady walks up and like,
He signed my ass.
oh man. Oh shit, that's great. Okay, guys, thank y'all again for coming out. It's been a fucking awesome
thanks,
night.
Chat. It's been great.
I
hey,
appreciate
thanks.
it. Chat, y'all
Sorry I
have
was
been
late.
amazing. Old Man Guru, hey,
That's
you're
what we
fine,
do.
brother. Old Man Guru, it was good seeing you here. You were an active member of the chat box of the comment section, so I really appreciate that. Love seeing new faces. And hey, we will be back next week to do this all over again. And I'm excited. With all of that, there are a ton of games coming out that want your money. Choose wisely, choose smart, save up, and stay thrifty. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all